Welcome back to another stream with your favorite NBA YouTube group Kia Threes. How y'all fellas doing?
It's a great day,
Good,
man.
good,
It's
good.
a,
Yes,
it's
sir. It's good.
a
Hey,
great
love
day
to
to be
hear it.
back.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Before we get started, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and make sure you're chatting in the chat below. We love to hear your thoughts
For sure.
on the topics we're going to discuss today. But first up, first topic we have is what is the worst trade of the last 5 years? And there's a lot of them that we have to discuss. There's the Paul George trade. We have the Rudy Gobert trade, the Nikola Vucevic trade, as well as the Kawhi Leonard trade and the Russell Westbrook to the Lakers trade as well. Gabe, what you thinking? What's the worst trade of the last 5 years, bro?
JELSON, Jacob, it's your boy. It's Rudy Gobert, bro. Listen to me right now. I know you want to defend this trade. I know with everything in you. But to me, there is no excusing giving up the house and the farm, giving up most of your asset pool to bring in a guy who then immediately regresses. Rudy Gobert's impact in Minnesota was not the same as what it was in Utah. Now, did he still provide some quality things for them? Yes, he did. However, this trade has put them in a severe chokehold because now they're at the point where, because of the new CBA, they're going to have to choose between him and the guy who started off this era for them in Karl Anthony Towns. And say what you want about Cat, but he's been the guy who's been here forever. And I still think there's a lot of Minnesota fans that would not be too mad keeping him around long term. But now it's like you just gave up so much for Rudy Gobert that you basically locked yourself into getting rid of Cat. And the fact that this trade, it didn't really make them that much better than the year before. Now, you can say what you want about Cat missing most of the year, and if they run it back, that could change opinions. But as of right now, what I've been able to judge off of it, he has a lot of time still on this contract. He hasn't made them that much better than what they were before, and they have to move off of their franchise piece.
I think those are all very fair criticisms. As like a renowned Rudy Gobert truther, or whatever you want to call me, I think those are all like very fair assessments. I mean, as you said, kind of chokeholds us with Karl Anthony Towns, whatever, all that stuff. I mean, we've heard it all. As a Timberwolves fan, I'm so used to it at this point. But the worst trade, like that's bad because in a way, like you give away these first round picks. And in reality, with the rule, you having 4 out of 7 of your first round picks is still cool or whatever. And people keep increasing the amount of first round picks we gave, which is so funny because at this point nobody even knows how many first round picks we gave, because on the Twitter timeline I see 3 first round picks and then the next day I see 9 first round picks. So with that Rudy Gobert trade, is one thing. It's more recent, so I think recency bias definitely takes a hold of things. But in my opinion, the worst trade in NBA history, not just the last 5 years, the worst trade in NBA history is the Paul George trade. Because when you look at the package they gave up, a lot of people wanted, especially Gabe, wants to talk about Rudy Gobert and the package they gave up. We gave up, a couple of assets that no longer are even on that team. A lot of them are on actually a second team from the original team they got traded for. And a lot of them were completely unplayable, either in the regular season and are out of the league completely, or were unplayable in the playoffs. But let's talk about this Paul George trade, because they gave up 5 first-round picks, Danilo Gallinari, who even at the time was a quality role player, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, come on. Like, I understand if you're high on the potential of Walker Kessler, because quite frankly, I am myself, because I think he's a really good talent in this league and is great as a great piece for the Jazz. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man, is the real deal. We've seen it, all NBA, all-star, averaging, I believe, 31 points per game last season, leading the Thunder to a play-in appearance when nobody really even expected them to do so. And that's just one piece. We're not even talking about the 5 first-round picks. We're not talking about Danilo Gallinari. And let's talk about what Paul George has done for the Clippers. I mean, what has he done? This is an open question for you guys, because
Nothing.
Quite honestly, nothing.
He took them to the conference finals.
And they
He's a very
folded.
quality
They
player.
blew a 3-1 lead.
I want to ask you something before you continue, though, since you're talking about Paul George being the worst. Multiple sources have said that for Kawhi Leonard to come to the Clippers, they were going to have to buy in and do that Paul George trade. They put themselves in a position to compete at the highest level. Because of injuries, they did not reach that peak, but they were looking very good heading into that 2021 conference finals. They were looking very good before the bubble in 2020, although we know how that ended for them, and I can't really bubble or no bubble, I don't want to excuse the 3-1 lead. But that Paul George trade allowed them to get Kawhi and put them in a position to where they could contend. Whereas if they kept Shea and all those assets, while it could have been a good youth movement, that wasn't guaranteed contention. Where they are now, while it has not come to fruition, it did put them in the chance to compete at the highest level, and that's to compete for a title. So I just can't call that the worst trade because it did put them in a place where they want to be. It was a buy-in. And technically, this era is not over. Now, I think the Clippers are cooked. But when I'm comparing that trade to the Timberwolves trade, it's just the Timberwolves, I don't know if they're going to be a contender. Now, I don't know if Rudy Gobert is getting any better, and it hasn't even reached his peak yet. So even timeline-wise, I don't like that. I feel like the Clippers Paul George trade was really to buy in and open up a championship window, even if it did not end up working out. The Timberwolves trade, they sold the house and the farm, and I don't know if that window ever even opened.
What I would tell you is it's too early to say that we don't know if the window even opened, considering the fact that we were 1 year in. Karl-Anthony Towns was injured for 62, 63 games. And also, which we talked about multiple different streams or whatever, and I don't want to be redundant about that, but he was out for a long time, so you got to admit that. And also, on top of that, Rudy Gobert was obviously, if you watch the Timberwolves, he was not at 100% throughout the season because of playing international ball, which you could say is Rudy Gobert's fault, which it honestly is. But at the same time, as a Timberwolves fan or as the Timberwolves, you don't expect a guy to go play for his national team and come in and just not be 100%, right?
Jelson, can I cut in just real quick? During FIBA basketball, I'm pretty sure I saw a couple clips of Yusuf Nurkic giving Rudy Gobert buckets. I just wanted to throw that in. You can continue.
So, okay.
This motherfucker bringing up FIBA basketball, bro. What are we
talking about? I don't even know what that
No.
What are we talking about?
The biggest thing was the biggest thing wasn't Yusuf Nurkic. It was actually Dennis Schroeder. But the whole point is it was very overblown and out of proportion because it was like the first couple of games he was getting used to back into the basketball rhythm and stuff like that, especially FIBA. The FIBA game is completely different than the NBA game, if we're being completely honest. We all know this. So guys like Yusuf Nurkic and Dennis Schroeder may have been acclimated quicker than Rudy was, especially with Rudy's role where he's a rim protector and he has to always be 100% the anchor down low, and he can never take a beat off. And if he does, he's getting exposed on ESPN and on SportsCenter because people don't like Rudy Gobert, which I'm not going to tell you need to like him or not, but that's the truth. But people will not talk about how later in the FIBA, in the Cup, he was locked down. He was a lockdown defender. He was probably the best defender in the entire tournament when he was, after the first couple of games. But people won't talk about that because of the fact that nobody likes Rudy Gobert. They'll bash him when he's bad, but they will be completely silent when he's the best defender in, quite honestly, the world during that tournament, as we saw. So Team France was very good, and it's also, you can't say Team France is good and Rudy Gobert was bad because that doesn't work. You have you're one of your top players has to be good for you to be a top team. It just has to be that way. But with Paul George, Gabe, I like how you brought up the window though, because you're kind of buying into the Kawhi Leonard, Paul George thing. But what I tell you is, sure, you kind of get that 2-for-1 package, but you're still paying Kawhi Leonard that money. You're still paying Paul George that money. You trade all these assets, which I want to say this right now. SGA wasn't even like a top tier part of this package because if you look at the reports, he isn't even in the title. Danilo Gallinari is in the title over SGA. So, which is crazy because SGA showed potential even before that trade. So I don't quite understand why, but still, with that being said, I don't think you run it back and say today you've had the time to look over it. You've seen the injury problems. you've seen all this stuff. It's easy to say hindsight 2020, right? That Paul George trade should never happened, even if you get Kawhi Leonard, because you still didn't win a championship. And I think that era is done with. And I honestly, you could say, well, they're still on a team together. They still have potential. I just don't see how it works out. The health has never worked out. They've always been saying the health is going to eventually work itself out. It hasn't happened. And Paul George got traded for 5 first-round picks, a solid role player, and an All-NBA player. And we're saying Rudy Gobert's trade is the worst after one season without even a healthy team, which is completely different than the Clippers situation because the Clippers have been unhealthy for multiple seasons.
You think the Wolves are a contender?
As of right now, I'm not sure.
I kind of feel like people said the Clippers were a definite contender when that trade was made. That's not my point with the window thing. Is they got to that level. If you don't even know if Minnesota is a contender, like I can't see them competing with the top teams in the league.
But that's fine. But we also have to compare trade packages. Because you can't say Rudy Gobert isn't as good as Paul George, so boom. Like, that's just not how that works. You got to say, like, yo, I believe we traded 4 first-round picks, Walker Kessler, and a bunch of scrubs for Rudy Gobert, which he had a down season. And then you look at this trade, and you trade an All-NBA first-team player, you trade 5 first-round picks and a solid role player. Like, it's just not similar.
So, Jacob, let me and I disagree with both of y'all. I have a different trade from the past 5 years as the worst trade. But when you look at the Paul George trade and the Rudy Gobert trade, number one, the Rudy Gobert trade, we still haven't seen the full effects of the trade. Actually, as we said, they're 1 year in. They didn't get a full year healthy with Karl-Anthony Towns. So as far as we know, this trade is still to be determined as if it's a good trade or if it's a bad trade or not. Because if they come and they're the 3 seed, 4 seed next season, and they show a lot of promise, then I feel like we'd be willing to let the 5 or 6 first-round picks. I think it was 5 first-round picks, and then they traded the player that they just drafted as well. So and he was a first-rounder. So 6 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. I didn't like the trade when it happened either. And I'm betting on it not being a good trade for the Timberwolves just because that's a lot of value to give up for a player like Rudy Gobert. And again, with the CBA stuff, now you're going to have to choose between the player that you just traded for and a player that's been your franchise cornerstone and that up until, the CBA was going to be a part of this team's long-term future, I would assume. So I guess let's wait another year before we really evaluate the Rudy Gobert trade and its effects on the Timberwolves. But I know we've gotten a few years from this trade that I'm going to talk about, and I'm a little biased, but then again, I'm not because we're in such a terrible situation. If you couldn't tell, I'm talking about the Nikola Vucevic trade that the Bulls, what was it going on, like 4 seasons? 4? Do I want to say 4? I want to say 4 seasons at this point. So when we first did this trade, I was not a big fan of us trading. We had traded Wendell, and then we also traded the 2 first-rounders for Vucevic. I think that Vucevic at the time, and probably still is better than Wendell Carter, although Wendell Carter is a fine young player. But then you just look at the next season and the season after that, and we just don't get any better. We actually missed the playoffs last season, and the season before that, the 2021-22 season, obviously we started off hot, but we petered very, very quickly, and we fell towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference playoffs, and we almost missed the playoffs and would have had to go into the play-in. So when you take into account our team hasn't really gotten significantly better as a result of the Vucevic trade, and we lost our first-round picks, and now we have a team that's just in the middle of no man's land, and we're not competing with the top of the conference teams, and then we're also somehow we're better than the absolute bottom of the barrel teams, but it's just not. We're in this situation where you can't win now, but you also can't necessarily tank because of the talent we have on the roster. And that issue was conflated with the signing of DeMar DeRozan, which leads us to believe that the Vucevic trade was supposed to be a win now move with a roster that was basically rebuilding, and then you signed DeMar DeRozan, who doesn't really fit along with this team. All of the issues conflated onto each other, and it just made for one of the worst situations in basketball currently. So yeah, I got this Nikola Vucevic trade as one of the worst trades in the past 5 years. I guess we also saw the effects of it, like, you know, kind of end after the season, because the Orlando Magic, they received our first round pick, and then they picked Anthony Black, and who else did they pick in the first round?
Jet Howard.
So
I think Jet Howard was your guys' pick.
Yeah, Jet Howard was our pick. So we saw the conclusion that I guess Jet Howard's a fine young player. We'll see what he turns out to be for the Orlando Magic. But
was it Franz your pick too?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think he. I thought.
Wait, was he?
I think he was. I think
he might have. He might have been, which makes this a lot worse because Franz Wagner, as we all know, Franz Wagner is a pretty damn good player. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of it when the trade actually got announced, and now seeing the aftermath of it, I'm even less of a fan. We just extended Vucevic, which, to our credit, isn't actually a terrible deal. I think that's a very, very movable contract. But with the position that we were just put in because of that trade, I can't really – I don't see any other trades being worse than the one that we did for Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah,
just to jump – I just want to say real quick, I'll let you go. Just to put a number on that, it was 2.5 years. It was trade deadline 2021. Yeah, it's trade deadline 2021. So then he played all of 21-22 there, and then all of 22-23.
Yes. To add on to that, it was Alfred Camino, Wendell Carter, Jet Howard, and Franz Wagner, which is, I think that might be worse than a Paul George trade. Oh my God. That is, I didn't know that Franz Wagner was a part of that package. That is,
I actually forgot until Gabe reminded me, which is another, like, the first round pick for this year, we still don't know what Jet Howard's going to be. He could be a complete flop. I'm not wishing that on his career, but it is what it is. Most first round picks aren't super, super great talents anyway. That Franz Wagner pick, that's gonna haunt me because he definitely would have been a player that I would have wanted on my roster, and now he's an Orlando Magic. So
I would say when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, I feel like that's a very good example of what it means to not microwave the process. I mean, you could have had Wendell and Franz, and I don't know how good Jet Howard gonna be, but hey, he probably will be needed for the Chicago Bulls. He's a shooter. But in my opinion, you guys have some pretty bad trades that you picked. The Rudy Gobert trade, absolutely awful. I mean, goddamn. I mean, at this point, you guys are literally discussing trading Karl Anthony Towns. I think that says how bad that trade is.
We didn't know that the CBA. We didn't know that the CBA. This is going to be a thing. I want to be, in all fairness, hindsight is 2020. When you make that trade, you don't expect them to completely change how the salary cap works.
I mean, you don't know anything though. I think like things keep changing, and that's, you could say the same thing about like the Clippers didn't know that Kawhi Leonard was never going to have a healthy playoffs again. You know, like I feel like it's another hindsight is 2020.
But injuries happen. Injuries happen at that frequently. New CBAs that completely change the salary cap do not.
I'll give it to you.
I just want to say, Jelson, when Rudy Gobert was healthy, I literally saw Stanley Johnson run, and it worked every single time while he was down.
I don't even know what you're talking about because
I got clips. I got evidence. I got clips.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But like personally, I don't know what you're exactly talking about. But what I will tell you is that as a big man that's always expected to protect the paint, people are going to get buckets. It's just how it's going to work. That's basketball.
Stanley Johnson, though?
Stanley Johnson at time was getting buckets on everybody for some reason. There was this time period where he was getting buckets, bro. Like there was like a 2-week span where he was kind of having a resurgence and he was getting buckets on everybody.
Ain't got him on Rudy. That's what
right. You know, if you guys want to talk about exposing Rudy Gobert buckets, you got to talk about like Terrence Mann or like
that's peak. That's peak.
Who was it with like Ben Simmons who don't score? It was like, you know, he gave him like 45 or something crazy. But
dude, okay.
I feel like to me, and this is going to be something we discuss later in the episode with a different topic we have, but perimeter defense isn't Rudy Gobert's thing. The whole system, even back to Utah, was all right. So Rudy Gobert is going to be the guy in the paint, to help out when somebody gets past their man on the perimeter. That's his role. So when he's matched up one-on-one against a smaller guy, like that's just not his game. I don't think that was ever his game. And so judging him based on that, I'm not gonna say that he hasn't regressed, but I am gonna say when they traded for Rudy Gobert, they saw the Terrence Mann game, like they saw the Ben Simmons game, like they have seen him get toasted one-on-one before. They fully expected that. So I think judging the trade based on something that we knew he wasn't gonna give you is not all the way fair, unless you just want to say they gave up that much for a player who was not that quality. If you think that makes him a worse player, then yeah, I think you could judge the package and say, oh, they gave up that much for him. Yeah, but him not doing that for Minnesota, I don't think he was expected to.
Yeah, but you could say it's not fair, but that's just stupid on their part. Trading for a guy that has a huge vulnerability in a 3-point shooting league. That's that is bad decision making.
And I do think that's fair.
I don't necessarily think that's fair, because think about it. There is countless players out there. Like I really dislike the DeJounte Murray trade. But here's what I will tell you is that people trade for people based on a specific skill set. And when they bring in a player and they expect him to be a perimeter defender, they'll be a perimeter defender. When Rudy Gobert gets traded for, he's expected to be a top tier paint defender, which is exactly what he was. Maybe not to the Utah Jazz days, but I will also tell you it's an adjustment year. Because I was watching during the Summer League today with the Timberwolves versus Hawks. They were talking about how DeJounte Murray averaged 20 and a half points per game and was relatively efficient last year in an adjustment year. But when they talk about Rudy Gobert, they talk about how terrible he was and how it was a terrible trade and how they don't give any benefit of the doubt about it being an adjustment year or the FIBA World Cup or any of this stuff. They don't take any of this stuff into account. And what I would tell you is they traded for him for their main weakness in the playoffs. They needed rebounding and they needed paint defense.
Okay, let me stop you right there. To their dismay, though, Rudy Gobert up until this point hasn't meshed well with Anthony Edwards. We haven't seen him play many games with Karl-Anthony Towns because he's hurt, but the Rudy Gobert being there has clogged up the paint for Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards made it work anyway because that's the type of player that he is, and I think that going forward, that's the type of player that he's just going to be. He's just going to have to work it out, and he's going to work it out. But when you look at number one, Rudy Gobert's contract is fucking massive, and not one that I would have wanted to trade for if I was a Timberwolves anyway. It's funny coming from me because I actually wanted the Bulls to potentially pursue a Rudy Gobert, but yeah, that didn't happen, obviously. But you look at his massive contract. Now the CBA thing is coming up. Now we have more roster chemistry issues because it was supposed to be a transitional year last year, and it was. It's going to be another transitional period this year because we're getting Karl-Anthony Towns back. So at least from that standpoint, I could see why someone would again be hypercritical of this Rudy Gobert trade, even though it's like very, very, very recent, and we haven't seen the full extent of it. But at least that makes sense to me why people would be like, "Yo, this trade, nah, I'm not with it."
But what differentiates this from the DeJounte Murray trade? I mean,
the DeJounte Murray trade hasn't worked out to be as bad as the Gobert trade has.
But why?
I mean, to be honest, I
in
feel
a
like
weaker
it's pretty much on the same. I feel like it's pretty much on the same level. They're both mid. They was both.
I disagree because DeJounte Murray just signed an extension with the Hawks, so clearly they're happy with what they got from him. Two, they're not going to have to move off Trae Young in order to accommodate DeJounte Murray's contract now, so that's a big portion of it. Three, they made the playoffs, which doesn't mean a whole lot, but they made the playoffs, so that's at least consistency from last year. And they took 2 games off the Celtics, which is also like pretty damn decent. You don't want to make the playoffs and then just say, all right, we made the playoffs, now let's give up. They actually had a fighting chance in that series. Granted, I didn't take them, and I thought they were going to get swept, but they surprised me and they pulled 2 games out of that. When you look at the Timberwolves, they traded for a paint protector and then went up against the best center in the league, and then he didn't protect the paint.
but he
against
did.
him.
He gave him his hardest challenge in the entire playoffs.
Gave him his. Didn't he still drop 30 that game where he shot
No,
like 30% from the field?
no, he actually dropped 43. But what I will tell you is,
wait. Hold on. In the game, he shot 8 from 29. Was that the game he dropped 43?
No,
right?
No. You're thinking of a game he had like I think he had 17 points that game, but he had like a ton of assists or whatever. He had a triple double.
I think he dropped a 20 piece and shot made 8 shots. But you're the Timberwolves fan, so you might remember better than me.
It might have been 20. I think he had a triple double that game at halftime.
Let me get in here though. This is kind of my thing with the DeJounte Murray trade as well. Is DeJounte Murray is 26 and Trae Young is 24. I think they have a long time that they could keep it together and try to put different rosters around them and really get something built up. Rudy Gobert is 31 right now, and Anthony Edwards is what, like 22? It's like the timeline there, it was kind of just an early buy-in. Like, I think they needed to be good now because by the time Ant's prime comes, like, bro, like, you traded all this for Rudy Gobert. Like, Rudy Gobert might be like 35 and like super regressed at that point. And so I feel like they really had to maximize what they were doing right now because he's so much older than who is the number one option on the team now, clearly. I want to jump back while I have the mic. I think the way we're judging these is very interesting to go from the short-term debate versus the long-term debate because short-term, it's like, oh, yeah, like the Rudy Gobert trade, like they sold the farm and now it's like, oh, things look bad. But as long as Anthony Edwards stays in town, like, you know, maybe down the road they could figure something out. They still have him. They still have McDaniels. Like the Clippers, they have Kawhi and PG, didn't work out. I want to go back to Mo's thing with the Bulls because the Bulls bought in and the Bulls weren't even a playoff team last year. And to me, that was a great point to bring up and how many picks and how many of these players are already panning out. I did not really think about how poor of a trade that one was. Like, now the more I really think about that, they bought in the first full year after they bought in, they went from an 11 seed to what were they, a 6 seed that like the next year?
Yes, I think so.
So they bought in and became a 6 seed. And then the year after, they finished as the 9 seed. And before they made all these trades, it was like the 11. So the fact that they gave up that many future assets to get better for like half a season, that is very poor. And that's going to come back to bite them, I think, for a long time now. I think the only thing that saves them there is the assets they gave up. They might stop seeing the effects of that trade sooner than some of these other franchises. But as far as like what's already going on and what the Bulls could have on their roster right now, it really does look a lot worse than I could even think. The Bulls just really were in a weird spot from the get-go because I feel like before they made the trade, they were in this position where they had like Zach LaVine and like enough other guys to where they were going to be like not the worst team in the NBA. So they weren't going to get that top pick. So it was like, well, if we're not going to get the top talent in the draft, it's like we got to get better somehow. And so for the situation they were in, I don't necessarily think it was the worst play unless you were going to get off Zach LaVine. Now, if they were going to go full rebuild and just blow it up, that's one thing. But for where the Bulls were at, that's a really hard one to judge for me.
Yeah, I like, because this is almost like the Rudy Gobert and Paul George trade kind of combined because you were buying into a championship window and the potential of having a championship window if you get Vucevic and then you sign DeMar and you have Levine and you have these other guys, Kobe White, who you're expecting to, develop. But you trade all these assets, you get Vucevic in, and I think the problem was you're buying into old people. You're buying into people that were going to be aged out of the league. DeMar DeRozan has played well. He has played well, but now you're stuck in a position where do we trade him now where he's still playing at like a relatively high level? And do we trade Vucevic now where he's playing at not the level he was when we traded for him, but he's still like a contributing NBA player, definitely a better starting center in the league probably? Or do you just stick with it? Because you're almost in that same position you were before the Vucevic trade, but now you don't have Franz Wagner and Jet and Wendell. You're stuck in this position where you're like, okay, we can be a possible play-in team, a possible playoff team, but next, the year after that, what happens? I mean, isn't DeMar DeRozan a free agent after the season?
Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal.
So now you're here with DeMar. Do you trade him now? Do you extend DeMar and then trade
Fun
him?
fact: he's extension eligible. I believe it's 4 years, 180 million, which is the max he could get. Which, yeah, that's gonna be hard trying to ship him off for any sort of value because he's gonna want that. I don't know who's gonna want to sign and trade him for that value. So we might end up just having to let him walk in free agency, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because he was a free agent when we got him, and so it's kind of just like, all right, well now we don't have this expensive player on our books anymore. We could make different free agency moves, but again, it all stems back to the trade. It limits our mobility in the short term, and because it limits our mobility in the short term, it limits our thinking for the long term because we can't think about 3 years from now because we got to worry about DeMar's situation with his contract. We got to still worry about Vucevic, who I think we're going to try to ship off before the trade deadline. And then after that, we look at our roster and we have Kobe White, who we just extended, which I'm happy we did so. Patrick Williams, who's developing nicely for us. But then after that, our young players don't get any play. We don't really have any foundation to build off of other than Kobe White, Patrick Williams, and then Zach LaVine, who just signed an extension and who might want to ask out after the season, after we potentially trade Vucevic, and if DeMar is to sign and trade, or if he's to walk in free agency. So again, it all stems back to that trade, and I'm just such a non-fan of what went down. I'm so disappointed with our front office in the past 10 years. It's been terrible, man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, Mo, I'm not gonna lie, the Bulls is fucked. Let's be honest, the Bulls is fucked. But me personally, my worst trade that I think was Russell Westbrook to the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers traded all the supporting pieces that helped them win that championship. KCP, Alex Caruso, Kyle Kuzma. You actually
Thanks
let
to
Alex
Caruso,
Caruso
by the
walk
way.
because you wanted to hold on to THT, who's not even there. Come on, make it make
Yikes.
sense. But with that being said, fellas, let's go to our next topic. And now we're going to be discussing who is the best point guard of all time. And Gabe, what you thinking, bro? What's on your mind?
Oh, he's choking.
Y'all know what time it is. Come on, bro.
Do we?
If you know anything about me, y'all know I am Steph Curry's biggest fan. Steph Curry is the greatest point guard to ever play the game of basketball. And this is a very close debate. I don't want to sit here. I hate when people get on Twitter and they have literally, you could give them the 8th greatest basketball player ever and the 9th greatest player of all time. And they say 8th player and it's not close. My God.
Sound like me.
I hate that too.
It is close. It's close. Because listen,
sure.
I don't even want to pull up their full accolade list because we know these are both Steph is minimum a top 15 player all time. I think most people have Magic 6 or something, maybe at least top 10. These are both top 10 range players. I'd probably even have them both top 10 at this point. To me, my Steph Curry argument is the fact that he can just play with anybody. Jay, one of the craziest things I've ever heard you say to me is the thing about Steph Curry needs a good playmaker to be effective. I think Steph Curry can be effective anywhere. I think on the ball, if he doesn't have somebody else great next to him, Steph Curry has one of the best handles in basketball, an underrated playmaker. He can drive to the hoop. He can obviously shoot from anywhere. He can do it all. Not to mention, he's the greatest off-the-ball basketball player of all time, which means if he is playing with other talented players, he doesn't need the ball in his hands. He doesn't have to be super ball dominant. He can really fit anywhere. And the fact that he's been able to stay on one team for his whole career is impressive. But even if he was a guy who played for a couple different franchises, I'm very confident that he would be able to fit just fine. While he might not be the greatest defender, I think when you're talking about the point guard position, and it's almost the opposite of the center position. When we talk about centers, it's oh, that guy's good, but he's not a good defender. That really takes away from him as a center. When you play the point guard position, I think your primary job is offense. Steph Curry is offense. He's one of the greatest offensive engines in history. Not to mention, let's go to his accolades. 4 championships. Magic does have 5. However, Steph Curry's rings, talk about the team all you want. Literally, 3 of Steph Curry's 4 rings are against who many people consider to be the greatest player of all time. He has 3 rings against what most people consider the greatest player of all time. You could not beat better competition. Now, say what you want about Kevin Durant or no Kevin Durant. That's Steph Curry's team. Kevin Durant came and played with them. I don't care who won Finals MVP. I don't care what the stats look like. That team was run through Steph Curry. He was the system. And now, let me finish. It's my turn. You'll go next. You'll go next. But and then just to extend the dynasty and say, oh, yeah, no, he needed a super team to win, to come back in 2022 and your next best players, because let's keep it a buck. Name value all you want about Clay and Draymond. He came back in 2022 and with his second best player, as there's an argument to be made for Andrew Wiggins and Kevon Looney as the next best player in that playoff run. He went out there and he won that championship. And I don't have many questions about it. That ring to me last year was a real solid championship. I don't want to put no asterisks on it. I know people will find a way to do it to like any ring that anybody wins, but I truly just believe they were the best team in any series they played. And even going into like year 34, Steph Curry still has more to give to the game. To me, he is still a top 5 player in the world. And assuming the Warriors don't completely fumble what they have right now, this team has enough talent to keep it going for the next couple of years. I think he's done enough at this point. Revolutionized the game. He completely changed the game of basketball. The 3-point revolution, you can say what you want about, oh, maybe it just started a little bit before him. Steph Curry changed the game. People go outside. Kids go outside these days. Bro, they're not starting with layups. They're going straight to the 3-point line. Why do you think that is? It's Steph Curry. He changed the game for little guys. Magic Johnson, he came in as like a 6'9", just freak of nature. Steph Curry, he put on for the guys that are like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". Guys that can get to the league on pure skill, pure finesse. His impact to the game cannot be understated. So not only is he one of the greatest players to ever play this game, but at the same time, he is also one of the most influential in a way that I think holds up going forward much better than Magic Johnson's legacy will.
You know, I completely agree with that. And what I was going to actually add to what you were saying is people say, oh, KD won the finals MVP. It was KD's team. Bro, Andre Iguodala won a finals MVP. Was it Andre Iguodala's team?
No.
I mean, let's be real here.
Context. Come on.
No, not context. Because guess what? Steph Curry won rings before and after KD. That's your context for you. He did it without KD. There was nothing to do with KD.
Joseph, did KD do it without Steph?
No, he didn't. Because guess what? Steph Curry is the best point guard of all time. Steph Curry, we can look at the accomplishments, the career accolades, right? We look at 2-time MVP, 4-time NBA champion, 9-time All-Star, and his career is not done yet. 2-time scoring champion, 1-time steals leader, 9-time All-NBA. Most of these stats, most of these accolades are better or on par with Magic Johnson, and Steph Curry's career is not even done. As a matter of fact, the way he plays, I could see him playing another 5 years, another 6 years, peak basketball, which is something I can't say about a lot of people in the NBA.
Peak.
He already has longevity. He already has, listen, he has peak and longevity on Magic. Peak, the greatest shooting season we've ever seen, the only unanimous MVP we've ever seen. Longevity, Magic Johnson, while it wasn't like his body getting washed to his, medical issues and all that kind of stuff, Steph Curry's been doing this longer than Magic Johnson did it.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because I am actually going to argue the opposite way. I think that Magic Johnson is still the greatest point guard to ever play the game.
Respect the OGs.
You talk about Magic Johnson. He played 13 years. So you take that what you will. His career should have been longer, and unfortunately it wasn't. But in those 13 years, 12-time All-Star, 4-time assist leader, 2-time steals leader, 5-time NBA champion, 10-time All-NBA. Steph Curry's made it 9 times. You said he's been playing longer. Well, hey, he made it 10 times and he only played 13 years. A 3-time league MVP, 3-time finals MVP, a part of that 75th anniversary team along with Steph Curry. When you look at a guy like Magic Johnson, it's just he was giving you consistency throughout his shortened tenure as an NBA player. Career 11 assists per game, ran one of the most electric and one of the most recognizable, notable offenses in the league in the Showtime Lakers, was the key piece in that. You look at immediately being interjected into a championship situation. I believe, didn't they win that finals when Magic was a rookie?
He won the finals, and he was the finals MVP.
And he was finals MVP as a rookie. Now, that might have been a little fugazi. I might be in the minority that thinks it should have went to Kareem. I think that his performance in that was slightly overrated. But regardless, he immediately came into a situation where he was expected to, I don't want to say expected to lead this team to the promised land, but he came into a winning situation as a player who was touted to be, one of the next great ones. So he came in, proved himself as one of the next great ones, and then he showed it upon his shortened 13-year career. So with all that being said, I believe that we have that in benefit of Magic Johnson, as well as, and this might kind of be pro Curry argument as well, but Steph's career isn't over yet. He could easily add more to his resume, and that's why I kind of don't like ranking current players besides like a LeBron, because his spot is damn near solidified. It's either 1 or 2 at this point. Take your pick. But I kind of don't like ranking current players all time lists, because especially players with a good amount left in the gas tank, like Steph Curry does. I don't like ranking them because we truly don't know where their career will go, and so we do these premature rankings, and then when it comes time for actual rankings, we're like, oh well, we had him this, and then he didn't accomplish very much more after that, when context always changes. So give me Magic Johnson as my greatest point guard of all time.
Hey, I'm right there with you, Mo. Magic is that guy, and let's be honest, the only reason he didn't have a long career is because he was a ladies' man. Like,
because he didn't have Draymond Green.
Come on, bro.
Anyways,
because he was a lady.
Like you guys said, Steph Curry has been incredibly influential, not only on the game of basketball, but the young up-and-coming basketball players as well. But let me tell you guys, the NBA did not become popping until Magic stepped foot in the league. I'm not going to lie, he was electric. In that finals, that game 6 against the Philadelphia 76ers, he dropped a 42-point triple-double. He deserved that finals MVP. Magic was just as influential on the game of basketball as Steph Curry has been throughout his career. And let's be honest, when Steph Curry's team was equal to LeBron's, had 3 All-Stars apiece, he never won a series. Never won a series. 2016, didn't win it. Playing, didn't win it. Second round this year, didn't win it. Steph Curry cannot be Hey, if Steph Curry's 10, Magic is 9. Steph Curry 5, Magic is 4. Magic is a better point guard. He was the first true point guard that we saw in the NBA. He took over.
All right, buddy, you're kind of glazing right now, but what I will tell you, my friend, is I like what you said about 4 or 5. They're going to be right next to each other, no matter what it is. And as Gabe said earlier, is that it's not like he clears him, right? It's very close, no matter how you view it. I think personally that Steph Curry championship a couple years ago really puts him over the edge for me personally, but it's very close. And we did bring up how Magic Johnson had 13 years experience and he retired because of medical problems because he was a ladies' man. But Steph Curry's had 14 years experience. You remove last year from that, he has 8 All-Stars and 8 All-NBAs instead of 9. And that's like the only thing that changes, really. He still has 2 MVPs. He still has his 4 NBA championships. He still has his finals MVP. He still has 8 All-Stars instead of 9, but he has 8. He has 8 All-NBAs. He averaged far more points in his career than Magic did. He averaged about 5 more points in his career so far.
How them assists looking? What's the assist looking like? Talk to me.
What I would tell you is, Jay, as a as you are a Draymond Green Glazer, you will know that Draymond Green is a playmaker, correct?
Absolutely.
So I've always viewed Steph Curry as a combo guard. I think we all view him as that pretty much, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
So
Nah, that's a pretty fair assessment.
So I don't think it's very fair to assess if Magic Johnson had Draymond Green on his team, Magic Johnson might very well be averaging 6 assists a game.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there because no. If he had Draymond Green on his team, Draymond Green wouldn't be on his team for long, or they probably wouldn't share the floor a lot because I don't even know where you got that from, bro. Draymond Green is one of a top 15 defender of all time, and also one of the connecting pieces to this Warriors dynasty in terms of their playmaking. Magic Johnson was exactly that for the Showtime Lakers, and I don't think you're going to replace Magic Johnson.
No. I don't think you are. No. That's not what I was saying. What I was trying to say is that if Draymond, for whatever reason, is on this Magic team, he's not starting more than likely because it's too redundant with those two players. But you're still in a situation where Magic Johnson doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting on the with the playmaking side of things, right? If Steph Curry didn't have Draymond Green, I'm not going to go with what Jay says and says that if Steph Curry didn't have Draymond Green, he's a scrub and not good and all this stuff. But I would tell you.
Whoa, wait. I didn't say that. Whoa, I didn't. Whoa, all right, you put words in my mouth. I didn't say that.
That is kind of crazy.
But what you were basically saying is Steph Curry wouldn't be effective in today's NBA, basically, or nearly. You said nearly as effective. Okay, you said nearly as effective.
He's more effective. He's more effective with Draymond spoon feeding him off the dribble, handoffs, and moving screens and things of that nature.
But when you are the best off.
I don't like how you put that in bad context. That's kind of a bad faith argument from you, Jay. The spoon feeding. You shoved that in there as a slight dig at Steph.
No. Oh, I didn't shove shit. No, he gets straight spoon fed by Draymond Green.
It's not at all true.
It's clear as day.
No, it's not. We literally had the rest of us had already disproven this by looking at the amount of buckets compared to the amount of assists in their careers combined playing together in games total. It doesn't even add to a third of his career buckets.
You can't
so he cannot be spoon-fed.
No. And not to mention, how are you spoon-fed when you have one of the best handles in the history of basketball? That's shot creation. Bro, Steph Curry is literally one of the best shot creators ever. You cannot say he's spoon-fed. Creating his own shot is a huge part of his game. But here's some context that I want to add for y'all. And I just want you to think about this because when we're comparing accolades and all this, one, I'm going to take you to finals runs. Now, you can say recency bias all you want, but look at the Western Conference that Magic Johnson played in versus the Western Conference Steph Curry played in. During Magic's career, the Eastern Conference had the Celtics, it had the Pistons, it had the Sixers. A lot of the powerful teams were out there in the East. Magic could get there every year and face pretty much whoever was coming out of the East. Now, I'm not going to say that it was a bunch of scrubs in the West, but compared to the West Steph Curry was in, there was conversations in every year of Steph Curry's prime that they need to get rid of conferences because the Western Conference was too strong and the East was weak. Steph Curry was going through the best competition every year to get there. Also, think about this when you're comparing these two players. When you say, he had one more All-Star, one more All-NBA. When Magic Johnson came into the NBA, guards were not the premier focus of most franchises. The NBA was still very much run through the power forward and the center position. It was the big man who was the leader, and the guard would go through that. Now, to Magic's credit, he was one of the foundations of revolutionizing that and saying, okay, now a successful team can be run through the guard position. He did play with Kareem, so there was a balancing act there, and they still did have some of that traditionalism.
6'8",
but yes, at the end of the day, he did have that benefit. Steph Curry racked up these accolades and was clearly the best player at his position in the prime of the point guard position. There has never been an era of basketball where the point guard position has been stronger and deeper than it was during the 2010s when Steph Curry was running things. He was playing against the best competition team-wise in that Western Conference. He was playing against the best competition at his position in history, and he still managed to cement himself as the best at that position the entire time. And that's before you even begin to look at stats. I think that whole argument with like Draymond you guys are making is like comparing teammates is just a weird thing because to me, when I look at it and I'm like, oh, who did they win with? Magic Johnson won who with a lot of people consider to be like the third greatest basketball player ever in Kareem. Well, when Steph Curry was winning, he won half of his rings. I will have to be honest here and be thorough with myself. I think that during the 2017-18 days, the top three players in the league was LeBron, Curry, and Durant. So either way, Magic or Curry, when they were winning at the highest level, it was like the second and the third best player in the league on the same team. That's just a fact. And so I think to me, the teammates argument really does cancel out because both of them just had great rosters around them. And I think they both maximized what they had. In Steve Kerr's system that allows Draymond to play make and be effective and allows Klay to get his shots off, Steph Curry being able to do his off-the-ball stuff is invaluable. But to a team in the Showtime Lakers that they're going to run the floor, they might have a couple of shooters out on the wing, but then they're going to have probably James Worthy in the dunker spot and Kareem in the post. Well, at that point, Magic Johnson, as just a more pure playmaker, is going to be the perfect guy for the job. I don't think you can say who's going to be better on each other's team because I do think, and that's why they're so close, is because they both complemented their team to perfection, in my opinion. That's why they were both so successful. That's why one has 4 rings with his franchise and one has 5 rings with his franchise. It really is that close to me. It's just when I'm picking hairs, I know that Steph Curry, I feel like had a little bit stronger of competition and he has more time to go. It's just a weird argument to make because to me, I think that Magic Johnson is probably a top 5 player ever, but I compare him and Curry directly, and that's what Mo was saying earlier. It's so hard to rank current players because I'm like, do I want to put Steph Curry top 5 ever? Well, I don't think so because then I'm like, can I say Steph Curry is better than like Kobe or Tim Duncan or like some of these guys? And that's a really weird thing for me to say. And I think to fully make that placement, it will have to take him retiring and us really looking at his full career in retrospect. But me looking at it right now, I think that Steph Curry is enough to surpass him. But
Gabe,
like I pretty much making my whole argument, it's so close.
I'm glad you said that because that was also one of the not the main point I had in my Magic Johnson case, but it's to the thing where Magic Johnson is in my top 5, and for Curry to be the best point guard ever, I'm gonna have to slide Magic down to 6 or 7 or wherever I end up putting him at. So it's a thing where do I think Steph Curry is top 5 all time right now? Well, no, because in my top 5, I have LeBron, I have not Steph, I have LeBron, I have Mike, and this is in order. I have LeBron, I have Mike, I also have Tim Duncan, I also have a Magic Johnson. So do I think that Steph Curry has done enough to cement himself with players of that pedigree? I think no, but it's like he's just outside the bubble when it comes to that. That's where you talk about when you making these top X lists, top 10, top 15, top 5, whatever. You really have to start splitting hairs because all of these players up until I want to say like top 15, they can have a case for like a top 6, 7, 8. You know what I'm saying? Player of all time. If you held a gun to my head and say, hey, if you don't think Kevin Durant is at least top 15, then I'm gonna shoot you with this gun. Well, I'll be like, hey, he's a top 15 player. Stretch it to top 10. All right, cool. I wouldn't go so far as to do that, but you could. So again, I think that Steph, obviously up until this point in his career, has been a phenomenal player. First ballot Hall of Fame type dude. He's going to get the respect that he deserves. He absolutely revolutionized the way that we play basketball right now, and he's one of the greatest of all time. I'm just not ready to call him the greatest point guard of all time. And again, that's subject to change because his career's still going. I don't know how many years he got left on his deal, but he signed it not too long ago. Didn't he sign the deal, 2 off seasons ago? 2 off seasons ago?
I think it was 2.
So it was 2 off
You
seasons
know,
ago.
he at least has a good 5 years left in him, regardless of
So,
what his
hey,
contract is.
you know, he could add 2 more rings to that resume, and then I might be willing to put him above Magic Johnson, even if he's still playing. So I think it's all of this that we do is a little premature, but that's the nature of us talking about basketball and us, talking about these players and their careers and ranking. I think that's one of the things that we always have to keep in mind when we're ranking current players is that they're current players for a reason. Like they're still playing the game of basketball at the highest level.
I saw someone talk about, I can't remember what writer it was or what publication it was, but they talked about instead of ranking players from like 1 through 5, like, oh, Braun is 1, Mike is 2, or Mike is 1, Braun is 2. They ranked them in range instead of specific position. Like like Steph Curry, you could say his range is number 4 to number 7, let's say, all time, or number 8, let's say. Magic Johnson, let's say his range is number 4 to number 6. So then you could put Magic Johnson above Steph Curry because the range is shorter and higher than Steph Curry's range is. But I like that ranking method a lot more than he's 1, he's 2, he's 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No,
for me, all those players are like, literally, if you sat here and gave me like Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, like, to me, all these guys, very, very similar tier. I'll even throw like a Larry Bird in there. I think they're all a very similar tier player of like, this player was either the best or the second best player of their era. Because to me, of the 2010s era, LeBron and Steph are the top 2 guys. In the 80s, it's like, like Magic and Bird, top 2 guys. 90s, probably Jordan, Offset, Hakeem, probably top 2 guys right there. And so, to like even 2000s, Kobe and Tim Duncan, I think those are the top 2 guys. And so when you're saying at minimum, like these guys are all like a border, like minimum top 2 player of their era, very similar tier, I think, just objectively at that point, unless you want to start comparing eras to each other, which is a whole different discussion.
Exactly.
So I have a question. Actually, before I get to the question, I just want to defend my Steph Curry hater allegations. I do think Steph Curry is still a top tier player, one of the best players that I've witnessed watching. And I'm not saying that he's completely ass without Draymond. I'm not saying that. He's a terrific shot creator and great shooter and all that. I'm just saying Draymond helps exponentially with his playmaking abilities. But with that being said, I have a question for you guys. You guys don't have to have like a too long or of a response. How many rings would it take for Steph Curry to win to put him past Kobe?
He's already above him, in my opinion.
He's like right there with him, in my opinion. I think if he wins one more, it could be like, I'm putting Steph Curry over Kobe, and I'm not gonna have Kobe fans, fucking shout at me and call me stupid, because I feel like if you put Curry above Kobe right now, it'd be considered a hot take. I wouldn't consider it so, because I think they're like close enough to where it's not out of the ordinary to put one above the other or have them kind of interchangeable. But I say, like, if he wins another ring, yeah, I'd probably put him over Kobe all the time.
That for me, that's like Kobe had 3 with Shaq and 2 without. If Curry wins one more, that's 2 with Durant, who is not as good as Shaq, and 3 without him.
Wait, didn't he win 1 with Katie?
He won 2 in 2017.
1, 2. Okay, you're right.
So yeah, he won. So 2 with Durant and then 3 without Durant. It's like, and he won before Durant and after Durant. It's like at that point, Kobe's argument at that point is probably defense, and Curry's argument is going to be playmaking and his off-ball ability. And yeah, Curry's defense, I think, it's not as much of a negative as people like.
It's like bang average.
I wasn't even going to go that way. I was going to say the argument in favor of Kobe's defense is likely going to revolve around the all defensive team selections, and I mean that's fine and all, but I wouldn't consider him one of the best guard defenders in the league for at least some of those all defensive team selections. I would argue that some of them he got off of reputation, and even putting the defense argument up against Steph Curry, I think that in terms of, well, Steph Curry's a small point guard. He's not going to take on a bunch of defensive responsibility anyway, and he's not a bad defender by any metric. I think we're past him being a bad defender.
He improved a lot, like so much more. He put on a lot of muscle.
Yeah, it comes with him. He put on like a lot of weight. Go look at that first MVP season and look at him now. He's put on muscle, and it's very noticeable. And it hasn't affected his shot either.
Exactly. And I would tell you also, I feel like Steph Curry, just with time and with age and with experience, he's gotten so much better at picking his battles too, with especially with trying to get steals. I only with age, it feels like he's gotten so much smarter as a defender, because we see like older point guards become so much better defenders because they're smarter with the way they play. So Steph Curry had both the experience and just gaining the ability like mentally to defend, but also putting on the muscle to become a better physical defender.
So, JELSON, just for the record, you have Steph Curry above Kobe all time?
Yes, I think it's very close. It's
Okay.
I'm a big Kobe fan. I mean, most of you guys know this probably. I'm a big Kobe guy, but I'm also a big Steph guy, and I have
You
Steph.
motherfucker better be glad Steph not here, boy. Hey,
What I tell you right now is it's fine, because I'm not a Warriors fan and I'm not a Lakers fan. So
I just needed that for the TikToks. Don't worry about it. You need that for TikToks.
nah, for sure.
With that being said, guys,
That's good. That's good content. That's real
that,
good content.
With that being said, fellas, we're gonna move on to our next section. Our next topic is going to be who is most likely to request a trade. And I'm not gonna lie, yeah, thank you, Mo. Mo, what you thinking?
all right. So, from the stream document, I didn't like any of those choices, especially Zach LaVine, because I hope he doesn't ask for a trade, even though it might be one on the horizon soon. But I kind of went a different way with this. I think that Pascal Siakam is a player who, up until this point, has been limited by the roster construction of the Raptors. I think that with the loss of Kevin Durant. I think with the loss of Kawhi Leonard, they had an opportunity to, take a step back and then get right back into the high seeding / contention that they were in immediately post the Kawhi trade. Unfortunately, it just hasn't panned out to be that. They drafted Scotty Barnes. It's taken a little while longer for him to, kick into gear, which I think that expecting him to be the franchise savior right away was probably a little unrealistic from Raptors fans. So I think that putting him in that position was a little like, hey, slow down. We got our championship, but it's going to be clear that this roster isn't a contending roster anytime soon. I think that Pascal Siakam may want to spread wings and play for an actual contending team. As to what teams he could land on, I was gonna say potentially the Mavericks, but with the new CBA, I don't think that all three of those contracts would be able to be on that roster at the same time. Same thing with the Hawks, even though I think that they could work something out potentially, because I don't think that DeJounte Murray's contract is like super huge, and they might be able to work with that. So that's who I have potentially asking for a trade, Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, I think Siakam's a good pick. As a Raptors fan, it's time to rebuild. It's been time to rebuild. And as much as some of the Raptors fans on the internet just hate me and Devin for saying that all the time, it's like they reached their ceiling. They reached their peak as a unit with, him and Fred and all that. And Fred's already gone. He left. Kawhi left right away. Kyle Lowry's been gone a couple of years now. It's time to move on. What happens with OG Anunoby? We still don't know. He's always in trade talks as well. It's just at this point with the Raptors, it just seems so far gone that they're not going to do it that I couldn't put it, because I don't think he's going to request a trade, because I feel like we would have heard rumblings of it. I know Toronto's good about not getting their stuff out to the media, but you'd think you would have heard something from like Pascal Siakam's camp or something by now. It just seems all like a bunch of unproven rumors, and if he were just to stay there through it all just because he likes Toronto, I'm not even surprised. I went in a different direction, and I went with Jaylen Brown. And here's why. Throughout the past couple of seasons, there's always this narrative of splitting up the Jays. And while I do think they can achieve success at the highest level together, and for the most part they have, they've been to a multitude of conference finals. They've made a finals appearance. They were 2 games away from a championship. And they just reinforced the roster again with the acquisition of Kristaps Porzingis to make another run at that. Here's where I think they might make a change, and where it might even be a mutual thing where he requests a trade, but they're also okay to get off of him. That Supermax extension is going to hit. And I think right now he has not requested a trade yet because the extension is not yet signed. The Celtics can give him any more money than any other franchise can give him. And so given that, Jaylen Brown seems like a guy who's about his bag. He's going to stay there until he signs that extension. He's going to sign that extension, and he's going to get that money. As soon as he gets that money, what's going to happen then? Well, we've already heard plenty of rumblings that he's not the most happy there. And we've also seen Brad Stevens is not afraid to make roster moves. Even when Brad Stevens was in the coaching staff, like Danny Ainge, when he was up there, like the Boston Celtics as a franchise have never been afraid to make these big moves. Isaiah Thomas led them to the 1 seed, was one of the best players in the NBA that season, and they literally moved right off of him. Right off of him. If there's any franchise who would work with a trade and just get off of Jaylen Brown like that, the Boston Celtics would find a way to make it happen. As far as where he goes, I think that there's 2 destinations that are both interesting. I think one is Atlanta. And in this case, it's kind of a double up because I saw a trade package floating around that was centered around Jaylen Brown and Trae Young. And I'm not going to lie. I kind of like it.
There's
I think
no way in hell the Hawks are dealing Trae Young for Jaylen Brown. Stop this right now.
But if Trae Young,
I could definitely do that.
Also wants out.
What are you talking
about? Trae Young,
definitely they would do that.
If Trae Young
why would they do that?
Out.
Wait, hold on. Gabe, now I'm cutting you off. Jelson, there's no way in hell the Atlanta Hawks would even entertain that.
There's definitely a way. There's a 100% a chance that they do that.
That's bullshit. Hell no. Nah. I think that they all in on Trae Young.
And here's one that here.
But Trae Young isn't all in on them, I don't think.
All right. I don't think Trae Young is all in on them either. So I wouldn't call it crazy. And you got to think with most franchises, it's going to be harder to get a deal done for a player of Jaylen Brown's caliber because when I'm saying a mock-up for Jaylen Brown, bro, the Celtics are trying to compete. They're not trading him for assets. They're going to trade him for another star player. And as far as star players who would be more immovable because those teams don't have a future in contention, the Hawks are not close to contention. I hate to break it to the 3 of you, but the Hawks are not close to contention. And while it does seem weird to move off of Trae because he still is quite young, if it's a mutual agreement, I don't see it being the most outlandish thing. The other one that I saw is also Boston getting a point guard. And that was to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think this one makes a little bit more sense. If Donovan Mitchell is going to be your lead guard and you're going to run with one of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley in the future, that gives you a great guard and a great big. What's going to fill in that gap? And especially, what has Cleveland been missing? That just phenomenal wing to put right there. And let's be honest, for his faults, there's not a lot of wings, especially not a lot of movable wings, that are better than Jaylen Brown. You pair up Jaylen Brown with Donovan Mitchell, especially because Jaylen Brown, a little bit older, especially if they're keeping Jarrett Allen around like for the at least decently long term. That's a little bit more on timeline than Darius Garland, who still has loads of potential and has already shown a lot of great play, but not as experienced, not as developed, has not been as far, is not as proven in the playoffs as Jaylen Brown has been. Is that a crazy buy-in? Yes, but I think almost all of these are crazy buy-ins. And as far as what the package looks like, it is going to look kind of outlandish no matter where you go because the Celtics are going to be getting off of them and still trying to compete. But either of these routes, I think it gives Jaylen Brown a lot of room to shine. I think it would give him a new location when he's been often disgruntled in Boston. He would not be trapped alongside another star forward. And the Celtics would still stay in a position where they're competing.
You know, I like that. And kind of that transition when we were talking about Jaylen Brown and Trae Young, it really does bring me into my guy, Trae Young. I don't see Trae Young buying into this team past this year simply because of the fact that they're not going to be good. Trae Young wants to win, and it seems quite obvious that he wants to win. I'd be surely shocked if they even make the playoffs this year. And I don't buy into DeJounte Murray being this needle mover. Last year, he was not. They made the playoffs. They did win a couple of games, but I'm not high on the Hawks. And even if you do make the playoffs, if you're an 8 seed, 7 seed, 9 seed, 10 seed, you win the play and get in the playoffs, does Trae Young really buy in even after that for a second year in a row? I don't think so. You make the Eastern Conference Finals at one time. John Collins is playing his best basketball. You just traded John Collins for a box of rocks and a stale bag of chips. Okay. So John Collins isn't going to be that second coming guy. Obviously, we've seen that. DeJounte Murray, in my opinion, is not a winning basketball player in a lot of sense. Who else is going to step up? Who else is going to step up? Clint Capella's not going to step up. I'll tell you that much. He's not the Rockets Clint Capella. He's not even Clint Capella when he first got on the team. So I think Trae Young will want his way out because he wants to win. I think Jaylen Brown will also want his way out. And I think if Jaylen Brown wants his bag and that's strictly what he's about and he wants to be on a team that could potentially build around him, he's going to be more than happy going to Atlanta. And I think personally, Trae Young wants to go somewhere where he can win. He'll go to Boston. Like, it just makes so much sense.
Listen, and Boston is going to be one of the best franchises to hide Trae Young's defensive weakness.
Exactly.
There's one roster around him that can just still defend well. Brother, it's the Boston Celtics. Them boys will be a top defense.
So, like, I like both of y'all picks. First off, when it comes to Trae Young, I do believe he will no longer be a Atlanta Hawk in a very, very near future. I honestly think that the Atlanta Hawks are planning Trae Young's dismissal with drafting Kobe Buffkin in this year's draft. He may be Trae Young's replacement. I can definitely see that in their future. When it comes to Jaylen Brown, though, Jaylen Brown's situation is very interesting. If you guys notice, he still has not signed that extension. I think right now, the Boston Celtics, along with Jaylen Brown, are watching the Damian Lillard situation and seeing how that plays out. This offseason, they got rid of Marcus Smart, which shows, like Gabe said, that they are willing to move off of some really key pieces. But trading Marcus Smart and losing Grant Williams, and you brought in Kristaps Porzingis and they brought in somebody else, but that's trading defense for offense. And I'm not sure if Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, for that matter, are cool with both Grant Williams and Marcus Smart no longer being on that roster. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Jaylen Brown does not sign that extension or they don't agree on terms on that extension. He goes into next year on a 1-year deal, goes into unrestricted free agency, and things get real excited. But I don't believe he wants to be a Boston Celtic. But my person that I do think will request a trade is Zion Williamson. I think Zion Williamson is seeing everything that everybody's saying about him online. I mean, not only about the female situation, but these main media outlets are talking about how, Zion is doing the Ben Simmons. He's pretending not to be healthy. He's not trying. He's not putting in the effort to better his health. And I don't think that's actually the case. Me personally, I just think Zion has a unique body type, and he just can't get the formula right just now. But I did see a quote today that he did say LeBron James had the blueprint, and Zion Williamson is looking to follow that plan. And I do think the best destination for Zion. No, I was gonna say the Knicks, but let's not go there. I said this team in one of our other streams. It's the Houston Rockets, baby. It's the Houston Rockets. They have way too many primary ball handlers that just want to score. It's just not everybody's going to go get a bucket for you, and you need people that are going to buy into certain roles. Not everybody is a primary scorer. And so I'm thinking you get off of Jalen Green, KPJ, maybe I don't know, maybe somebody else off their bench, but those two guys that have the ball in their hands for majority of the offense, get rid of them, bring in Zion Williamson, and boom, you have yourself a very nice young squad on your hands. So I think Zion is for sure on his way out of New Orleans.
Jay, I don't want to make this a Zion debate about where he's going to go, but what I tell you is if you trade Jalen Green and KPJ, you have a new problem where you have no ball handlers anymore. Like that's a new problem you have. And I also want to bring up that Kobe Buffkin take was crazy.
Man, Kobe Buffkin the replacement.
I heard it.
Y'all not Kobe Buffkin believers?
Dude, no, he could be real solid, but
that's
Trae Young, bro.
They prepared for Trae Young's exit by drafting Kobe Buffkin. We dead ass.
Trae Young is like a top 5 point guard, bro. Trae Young is like a top 5 point guard on earth. You think Kobe Buffkin should be a top 5 point guard?
Maybe you don't need a top 5 point guard, though. Maybe you need a point guard that can be more efficient, more effective at that position, that plays better alongside DeJounte Murray.
So he's not exactly a replacement for Trey. He's just their future at the point guard position. Because he's not replacing. So you're not saying he's replacing his production. You're saying he's just going to take that spot.
He's going to take that spot and be a better fit. Because obviously, both of them alongside each other don't work.
No,
I think that's a better take than saying that he was going to average that 27.
I don't think it's a
I
good
didn't say he was going to average 27.
They just signed DeJounte Murray to an extension. And for them to do that, prepare on Trae Young leaving while they just extended DeJounte Murray. So they're basically choosing DeJounte Murry over Trae Young in your example. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, listen. At the same time, though,
doing that.
Mo, you're saying that, but the Timberwolves are currently choosing Rudy Gobert, who they just traded for, over Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay,
exactly.
Those are two different situations, and two, they just gave up so much in order to trade for Rudy Gobert, which was a mistake in and of its own. They could trade and get some sort of value for Karl Anthony Towns because they have an Anthony Edwards. The Atlanta Hawks don't have an Anthony Edwards to replace a Trae Young now. So you just said they're drafting a young guard to replace a top 5 point guard in the league because they just signed his co-star shooting guard, and the season that they just had didn't work out. So you know what? We're going to extend the shooting guard, get rid of our franchise piece, and then draft a young player. That doesn't track.
Did you know that the Warriors are expecting Steph Curry's departure, so that's why they drafted Nico Mannion a couple years ago?
Like, what are we talking about?
Yo, y'all are some trolls because that's literally the situation. Bro, the Atlanta Hawks are literally traded away Luka Doncic, bro. They are literally dumb enough to do some shit like that. And I think
that's different.
I think
what are we talking about? Those are two totally different situations.
Hey, listen, we are very all over the place.
It's the same front office.
Let's reel it in a little bit. Atlanta does have not the best front office. We'll start there. I want to go back to your actual take. I think we got a little bit away from that. Zion Williamson. Let me lock in here.
All right, let's lock in.
If Zion Williamson requests a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans, he is the biggest clown I've ever seen. Sorry, I had to stop real quick. Jay went full screen.
What the hell?
And I was like,
did I do that?
No, I went full screen just to see Jay's reaction.
Oh, no. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
No,
that was my computer.
If Zion Williamson requests a trade, he is the biggest clown in the NBA. And here's why. Zion Williamson gets drafted to this franchise. Things don't go well off the gate. They have some weird hirings. They bring in Stan Van Gundy. They put some players around him who do not space the floor very well. I think they had like Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams out there and a bunch of bullshit like that. Was not a great core. Was not going to get you very far. Since then, they have done everything in their power to build the best possible roster around Zion Williamson. This is a very good roster. It's a roster with some veterans, CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, quality veterans. He has a co-star. He has Brandon Ingram. There's other young talent on this team. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, just drafted Jordan Hawkins, who a lot of people are very high on as a shooter. Other depth pieces. Tyson Daniels can be something. Larry Nance Jr. can be something. Jose Alvarado, a guy who was on the roster, he gave them a lot of quality minutes and probably will continue to do so. The New Orleans Pelicans have done everything in their power. Even they got off Stan Van right away. They knew it was bad. Willie Green came in. I really like Willie Green as a coach. And when Zion plays, it shows. They were in 1-seed contention when Zion was playing this year. And not the biggest sample size, but even if they don't keep that, this was a very good team. They made the playoffs last year after he went out. And this year, while they didn't, I don't think they made it, but they were close. They were competitive. They still played some solid basketball. If he leaves this situation, he's just a clown. The only thing missing from this situation is Zion. If this roster had Zion, they're giving the Grizzlies run. They're giving the Warriors run. They're giving the Lakers run. Am I going to say that they're going to win all these series? Probably not. But like, am I saying that they could take them far and they have a chance to win a lot of these series? I think they do. This roster is real solid, and they have solid coaching to back that. This front office has done a great job, and him leaving would just be petty at this point. If a franchise gives you everything and you don't give them a chance, Zion, you failed the Pelicans. The Pelicans did not fail you. And if you request a trade out of that situation, shame on you, because you can't already look more dumb than the Mariah Mills situation. He would look more dumb than the Mariah Mills situation. This dude about to have like 3 baby daddies or 3 baby mamas. My fault.
Right.
That's wild.
He about to have if he had 3 baby, that meme would be looking even crazier. But he's about to have 3 baby mamas, and that's still not the biggest L he took in 2023 if he requested a trade. That would be a fatal mistake.
Listen. My thing is, I think Zion would look towards requesting a trade because I feel like a lot of people are pointing the finger at him, saying even people within the organization. CJ McCollum seemingly threw subliminal shots at him. It's like I feel like the organization is starting to turn on him because he keeps falling short of due to injury. He keeps suffering these injuries over and over again, and I feel like the front offices they don't think that Zion is as dedicated to basketball as he should be, and I think Zion is taking some of the shit he sees on social media and things like that personally.
Yeah,
Hey, bro, put the uniform on, bro. Put the uniform on. I can't.
But he doesn't feel like Zion. Zion doesn't feel like Zion, man.
Bro, he's gonna that's just, to me, that's bitching out. If they're saying like, oh, it's because you're not here, motherfucker, be there. They're right. What do you they're calling you out? How is that shots? If CJ McCollum says, yeah, we'd be better if everybody was here. Yeah.
Hey, Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe. Zion is waiting for Klay Thompson's contract to run out, and Zion is requesting a trade to Golden State.
You're a clown. You're a clown.
Next topic.
Zion Williamson has failed the New Orleans Pelicans severely, and I'm so serious. If he requests a trade as an NBA team, I don't care about his upside, bro. The team did everything in their power to build something around you, did so successfully. And your response is to ask out because you're a bitch and could not handle what people said to you on social media. My boy, that's bitching out. As a man, me personally, brother, I'm not trading for that. That's not the kind of player I want on my roster.
Bro, he's locked in on them Doritos, bro. He's locked in on the Mountain Dew commercials.
Hold on, Gabe. You're the GM of the Toronto Raptors. I'm David Griffin. Yo, Gabe, I got Zion on my hands. I'm trying to get him off. I'll give you Pascal Siakam and OG. Would you're saying no?
I would say no.
Wait, hold up.
Pascal and OG?
Wait.
Pascal and OG. Pascal and OG.
What are we doing here, bro?
Yeah, if I'm the Raptors GM, I'm saying no.
Yeah, you're crazy. That's it. Zion averaged 27 points on crazy efficiency. The New Orleans Pelicans were led by Zion and the number 1 seed in the West last year. Come on,
Jay.
Number
Pascal
one.
Pascal Siakam is like 24. Plus
Pascal's
OG.
not young. Pascal
No,
not 24.
I'm saying points per game.
Okay.
Bro,
Yo,
he averages like 4 less points. He averages like 4 less
Wait,
points than
time
Zion
out.
and
Time
actually
out.
plays.
Plus,
we throw in OG. I'm saying
you
no.
said Siakam is 24, and I was like, bro, he's not that
he's not
fucking
24.
young.
Me too. I was like,
No.
dude,
Oh my god,
that is one of those Bleacher Report Friday night type of trades, brother. Like, that is awful.
Bro, OG, and that's a wild overpay because, bro, if Zion is a 9 out of 10 basketball player, Pascal is like a 7.5 or an 8. So at that point, to give up OG too for a guy that might not play, bro, I could get way better returns for Siakam. At least I'll take picks because, listen, the Raptors need to rebuild anyways. The Raptors' current roster with Zion
Henderson
still ain't about to win shit, bro. They're still not about to win shit. I'm a fan. That's just
Henderson is a Raptor.
We'll never be a Raptor.
If they made that trade, bro, the Raptors would still just be mid, and then Zion would probably just leave there in free agency. If you're the Raptors, that's not the way to start your rebuild. Who said it earlier? Jay, I think it was you, and this was a great line. This was your best line of the episode. You don't want to It was something about microwaving the product or something like that. Microwave the
process.
Microwave the process, bro. That would be the Raptors microwaving the process, and that shit would backfire hard.
For younger Zion with more upside?
Brother, they could get. I
saying
guarantee you.
Zion
I
for
guarantee
OG?
you. I guarantee
Zion for
you-
OG and Pascal.
and Pascal.
And Pascal.
No, that's
Dude,
too much.
Dude,
for
you
Zion.
could
Yo,
get. You could
OG
probably.
is overrated,
you could
bro.
probably
OG
get.
is overrated,
You
bro.
could probably get Scoot Henderson
Siakam
for a
with
package of
him,
Pascal
bro.
and OG, bro. You could probably get Zion. Sir, you could probably get Scoot for that package. Matter of
Even
fact,
if OG's
I don't
overrated,
even.
you
I don't
can
even
still get
think.
more than that, bro.
No,
I don't even think-
nobody's giving up. Hold on. You're not getting Scoot with that. I'm sorry.
I don't even think. I know this thing. I actually, matter of fact, I think that's too much for Scoot, in my opinion. Actually, because you're giving up a 24 points per game guy, a guy that's an all-star, solidified all-star, and you're giving up a perimeter defender at the wing position, which is rare to find. Those don't grow on trees. We say this all the time. That should be on a t-shirt, bro. Those wings do not grow on trees. And you're saying, saying we're gonna give it up for a guy who's played about 4.5 games over 30 years.
Justin.
Why would you give up why would you give up a B+ for an A that's going to play 20 games?
Wait, hold on. Let's play the what if game, right? Let's do it for a second.
Game. This is my favorite game.
All right, let's take Pascal Siakam off that Raptors team that was in the play-in, right? We put Zion Williamson in his spot.
What if Chris Paul got traded to the Lakers?
Wait a minute.
Well, then they lose by more because he wouldn't play.
All right, buddy.
The
Raptors will lose by more. No, because Zion would be on the couch.
There we go.
That's exactly where he
There we
But
go.
you mean if he
Where was
plays?
Zion at? Where was
Healthy,
Zion playing for the
obviously.
Pelicans?
Healthy,
Did the
obviously.
Pelicans have a playing game this year? If you put Pascal Siakam on this year's Pelicans team,
I mean,
they probably make the
healthier,
playoffs.
They definitely make the playoffs.
If
You
they
put a
switch
healthy
places-
Zion on the team, they make the playoffs.
But Pascal
But a
was healthy,
healthy
and Zion
this
wasn't.
thing- That's not a debate with Pascal. With Pascal, you know he's going to be healthy 95% of the time.
I'm not gonna
Siakam
lie.
on the Pelicans would have been a 4 seed this year, probably, because the 4 seed won 45 games. They weren't that
I'm not
far
gonna lie,
away.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie, y'all kind of blew up my what if, but anyways, what's good, Garrett? How you doing, bro?
No, he
Doing pretty
lost.
good.
No, bro lost, and he's like, "Hey, Garrett."
Yeah, y'all funny as hell, bro. Y'all is
Yo,
funny
Garrett,
as
who
hell
do you?
for that.
This
Garrett,
is
who do you think
content, bro. This is content.
Garrett, who do you think will be most likely to request a trade, bro?
So like when I was looking at this, actually, I mean, I see the names we have in the doc between Trey, Brown, Zion, Levine, and Siakam. I think I originally suggested Zion as requesting a trade. I don't know if he'd be the first to be traded, but I think he would request a trade just because, like, it doesn't feel like his heart is in New Orleans at this point. But I don't know if he would get traded. I'm just saying, I feel like
that Doritos bag, bro.
Nah, his heart.
Yeah.
His heart is.
and it's best
the
for him
next
probably.
baby
He needs
mama
to get
come
away
on,
from
bro.
that gumbo.
Y'all talking about food, bro. We know what Zion was doing in his free time, bro.
Bro,
You're
I
telling
mean,
me, bro, because listen, here's my thing with Zion is, bro, we see what this dude is doing right now with these scandals, bro. If he requests a trade, when players request trades, where do they want to go? They want to go to LA. They want to go to New York. They want to go to Miami. Bro, you take this dude Zion
Jay wants him in
Williamson,
Houston.
and you put him, bro.
Nice.
He's cooked. He's done. He's finished. It's over.
Bro,
That's-
he has to
that's
go to
even
like
worse.
Antarctica, bro.
For his current situation, bro,
to starve? Are you saying this? Yeah, that's
I wasn't
crazy.
even talking about food. I'm talking about the bro. Holy God, bro.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
but they could solve both
And
the
send him to
problems, bro.
Greenland.
You guys got anything else to say on this topic? Should we move on?
Zion is a
Y'all
Zion
took
is
this
a
topic
clown.
from me. Y'all took this topic from me. I ain't got shit else to say about it.
This is content, bro. This is the
Oh,
Jay
my
Keyholder podcast, bro.
There's gonna be a lot of TikToks made from that segment back there. Y'all is hilarious, bro.
All right, so our next topic, right, guys. There's a lot of very good defensive bigs that we have in this league, right? Who do you guys think is the best rim protector that we have in the NBA? Starting with you,
You put me on the spot. Okay. See, it's interesting because I'm looking at everyone on this list between like Giannis, and it's like Giannis isn't like primarily the 5 or anything like that. And then like there's Lopez. but I don't know how I feel about Lopez being the best rim protector in the NBA. I also think he kind of had like a career year last year, and there's no way he's going to play this good next year. He could still be a really good defender, but I don't know. I like Bam, his intangibles as a rim protector. He's kind of small though. Between Jaren Jackson Jr., Rudy Gobert, you know who I might say here,
Kessler,
and
Walker
most of this year, I believe he was like statistically like the best. He had like the best defensive rating for like a starting center in the league. I don't know if he ended as that, but I think it was like for most of the year, and that was the most valuable player, Joel Embiid. Is that a crazy take? I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. I just
worst take.
I feel like
I got opinions on Joel Embiid's overrated, in my opinion, defense, but I'm gonna let you cook.
Well, my thing is though, like just from watching him this year, and like I'm kind of close with a few Philly fans, so like I watch more attentively, I guess, like on the defensive side with that, and just all the stuff. See, all the narratives I feel like that the media wanted to push out about a couple years ago with the Jazz, and like, oh yeah, like Rudy Gobert's a fraud, but at the same time, it's like none of the perimeter players can stay in front of their guys, and then it brings Rudy Gobert over, and then he has to help out and stuff like that. I feel like the way Embiid does that, like, and he is basically as a help defender and a rim protector for two guards that aren't really great perimeter defending guards, and Tyrese Maxey and James Harden. I mean, what he's done with that, and really even, I mean, Tobias is, I guess, okay at points, but I wouldn't say they have like the most ideal starting five defensively. And just from like me watching, like straight up the eye test, when those guards get downhill and they get past their guy, and then it gets to like a 2-on-1 situation, if it's like a pick and roll or something like that, I feel like Embiid defends that with the best of them. And you think about how many times he's put in that situation. I mean, this guy is like up there with league leaders in minutes per game. He's up there with, league leaders in games played, obviously. Just run on the floor. And that's what you're going to get out of an all NBA level player, an MVP level player. And the fact that he also still has the energy to be the leading scorer in the league while doing that at such a high level, I'm gonna give Embiid my vote. Actually,
That's a good point. I'm surprised he actually was not on our list.
He shouldn't have been there, but that's just me.
No, I agree. I agree to an extent that I don't think he's as good as these guys that we have listed here, but I'm surprised we didn't have him based off of name value, MVP winning, stuff like that. But I have Rudy Gobert being the best paint defender in the entire league, based purely off of, I don't think this year we had a lot of great paint defenders. I think we had a lot of above average good paint defenders, but nothing like, I feel like in years past we've had like one or two really good paint defenders, and everybody else was kind of just mid at paint defending. But this year it felt like we had a kind of like a surge of paint defending where there were a lot of quality paint defenders. And the best example of that is Brook Lopez, because Brook Lopez, having a career on the defensive end of things. But with that being said, Rudy Gobert, having already won the Defensive Player of the Year multiple times, he has just a natural thing about him where people and guards will not drive to the paint a lot of the time because Rudy's in the paint. And that is, you could say is, well, that's not really him being a good defender, but you don't gain that respect. And that doesn't happen unless you had or currently are one of the best paint defenders in the league. And given the opportunity to defend the paint in a typical paint defender form, and not what Jay likes to hammer on about how he's getting exposed by perimeter defending, because that's completely different.
Stanley Johnson.
By paint defending, with paint defending.
Stop bringing up Stanley Johnson, bro.
Dude, when talking about paint defending, Rudy Gobert still is up there when it comes to shot deflections, shots blocked, like deterrence, stuff like that. He's always going to be up there, has always been up there. And I think you take those three things into account. Pass out situations, forcing the pass out. Rudy Gobert is up there and has always been up there with those guys. And I think nothing changed except for him going over to a team that wasn't quite as good in Minnesota than those Jazz teams were. And also him not being in that same system, having the acclimation season. So people were like, oh, he's not as good. When in reality, towards the end of the season, actually probably the second half of the season, he was actually a really, really, really good paint defender. So he, in my opinion, was the best paint defender purely based off of the fact that he has the intangibles. He has all the tools to be the best paint defender and was the best paint defender. I don't think the stats will show it, but from an eye test, in my opinion, he was the best paint defender.
So you're biased, and that's okay. I respect it. But respectfully, I think that the best rim protector in the league is Jaren Jackson Jr. You talk about a guy who, ever since he's shown that best defender in the league type, what am I trying to say? Like he showed flashes of, him being a top level defender in this league. And ever since then, he's continued to prove year by year. Last year, speaking on the 2021-22 season, he was a fantastic defender. And then it was kind of the narrative that he fouled out too much. That was quickly disproven this season. And you look at what he did this season, he
still fouled out a lot. It's still a problem that he has in his game.
It was, in my opinion, it was largely overblown because he did foul out. He had a stretch where he fouled out a few times in I think it was a 2-week stretch or something like that. And so it definitely was an issue. I think it's largely become under control, and he's a big man, and he's the most important defender on that team. So if there's anybody that's going to foul, it's going to be him. But, with him winning Defensive Player of the Year honors this year, I think that he truly has taken his game to a defensive level, taken his defensive game to a new level, And I really like the ceiling that I see for Jaren Jackson Jr. because when you look at him, you really, really do not want, if you're an undersized guard or if you're a guard in general, or if you're forward, if you're not someone that can match his verticality, his physicalness on the defensive side of the ball, you don't really want to drive against him. You don't really want to, make those tough layups because more than likely he's coming down with that shit. I would say in the playoffs, we saw this to a pretty decent amount, but not towards the level that he was in the regular season. And that's something that you can note was like, hey, when it came down to time in the playoffs, he didn't show up as much. But I think that those are still a bit of growing pains with him as a young player. And I think that the consistency throughout the playoffs and the regular season will come as he matures, as his game matures, and as he, continues to learn things about defense in the NBA, what he can get away with, what he can't get away with. To your credit, when he fouls less, which he's already started to foul less, fouling even less and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have Jaren Jackson Jr. as the best rim protector in the league.
I think you all have some good players here. I will say I do agree with one of you. And I think at this point, every guy that's been listed is like at least a 9 out of 10 rim protector, right? I mean, we're giving them all best in the league arguments for a reason. To me, the guy that I picked as the best rim protector in the league is the guy who gets to focus most of his attention there. And that would be Rudy Gobert. Now, Jaren Jackson definitely has higher upside there. And I don't even want to completely go the foul route. I just think that the other guys that we usually talk about, I know this list has, a Giannis on it. Like some people will even say Bam, Joel Embiid. These guys are all very focused. And yes, as the team's primary rim protector, but also in other areas, notably just being more versatile defenders, the ability to stretch out to the perimeter, guard smaller guys, and just do a lot of different things on defense. And then more in Embiid's case, just on the offensive end with how much of a force he is there, that takes a lot of effort. And what is one of the biggest parts of defense is your effort and your energy. Rudy Gobert's, his entire game is rim protection. And that's what he's made his money off of his entire career. That's really just his whole niche as an NBA player. In Utah, teams would get past their man because they didn't have a lot of defenders. Playoffs for them, that system was tailored to do that, and he played that role to the best of his ability. And the best of that ability was the top defense.
Did he just lag out for anybody else?
Yeah. He lagged for a
Hey,
hot, like 3 or 4 seconds.
Restart
3 seconds. You lagged.
We couldn't hear you for
Repeat from where you were saying that like Joel Embiid is like an offensive powerhouse,
Right.
basically.
So Embiid is an offensive powerhouse. With Rudy Gobert, he just puts in all his effort to being a rim protector. Going back to the Jazz days, like Rudy Gobert, he'd be in the paint. They did not have a lot of good perimeter defenders. So what was the goal? The scheme was, all right, they're going to get by their man. Basically by design, they're going to funnel them to Rudy Gobert. And he was such a force of nature as a rim protector that he took that lack of defensive talent to a top 3 defense in the NBA. Now, did that always pan out in the playoffs? No. No, it did not. However, for 82 games and some change, every year, Rudy Gobert's impact would have your defense at the top of the league based on that really just one big skill. Paint defense is his one big thing. And it was that effective. Other guys, they might give you that. And they might give you that at a very high level, but nobody is as focused on being a great rim protector like Rudy Gobert is going to be. And while the Minnesota Timberwolves stats may not show that, JELSON did give a fair example of a lot of Minnesota Timberwolves stats that do show that, and that do show that he was still very effective as a rim protector. And I think it'll only help the more he actually fits in this scheme and gets to really maximize his efforts. Because let's be honest, we've talked about it so much on this stream already today. It was an adjustment year. Defense is a lot of scheming, and especially when Rudy Gobert came from a system that was so heavily schemed to maximize his strengths, well, now he's going to have to get to a place where he's going to have to figure out how to get his stuff in. He has to figure out how to maximize his ability when everything is not perfectly tailored to him, or if they want to make something perfectly tailored to him, it's not the same players around him. He's never played with a defender as good as like a McDaniels. It's different talent. So different situation, but I still think just due to how big of a focus rim protection is on his game allows him to provide that at a higher level than anybody else.
I mean, I don't disagree with most of what you said. I think the only thing I would say that I'm not so sure of is I know you said like he gets the most attention because I like you said something like I think he had like the highest like load of these guys like to manage or something. But in Utah, I would agree to an extent. Like that's a fair argument. I don't know if I would agree to the same extent when he has, perimeter defenders like Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels as well around him to alleviate some of that pressure that maybe he didn't have prior. So like a year or two ago, I would agree with that, or I would be fine with that. I just don't know if I agree with that as much anymore.
See,
that wasn't really the point I was making. It was less about the load he's taking on. It's more of the fact that rim protection is Rudy Gobert's game. That is what he does. And versus anybody else we talk about, they're going to put some of their effort into with Embiid scoring, with Bam Adebayo on the perimeter and switching. Rudy Gobert is going to rim protect.
It is his specialty, I suppose. But what I would say is I wouldn't necessarily bank on the fact where it's just because it's someone's specialty means that he's the best in the league. Because let's say for example, who's Kyle Korver or JJ Redick, these guys made a staple for themselves for shooting the ball, but they're not the greatest shooter of all time.
That isn't at all a similar comparison because Rudy Gobert had, and in my opinion still is, but at least if you don't want to say this year, had at one point, let's say 2 years ago, was the best paint defender in the league. Unanimously.
I thought we were talking about now.
But and then that's what I was just gonna say.
That's petty as hell. That is petty.
What I was gonna.
Yeah.
But I just disproved that your thought process of just because he's a specialist doesn't mean that he's best in the league. But what I will tell you is that
it's true though.
This year
he could be. I'm just saying that.
No. I agree that just because specialty doesn't mean that he is the best, but that isn't a debate with Rudy is specifically. And what I would tell you is
what do you mean by isn't a debate exactly?
Or it isn't a point to be made because Rudy has already shown that he can and more than likely is that best defender because it is his main focus point in his game. But what I will also tell you is that you brought up how with Minnesota You have the Jaden McDaniels of the world, the Anthony Edwards of the world, where he's never seen these players before, or he never played with the defender as this good before. The defense system completely changed because it's not funneling towards Rudy Gobert. What I will tell you is it's an adjustment year, as Gabe said. It's an adjustment year. He's learning how to play with these guys, with Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards. While at the same time, along with learning how to play with these guys, he was still towards the second half of the season, in my opinion. The second half of the season, he was clearly the best rim defender in the league. But even towards the beginning of the season, he was still maybe not providing at that Utah level because the system was different. But what I would tell you is that he was providing at a top 5 rim protector level during that time period. Second half of the season was completely different. He got locked in. They decided Chris Finch knew how to really lock him in and knew how to use him even with Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards. And then that's when you really saw that he still is that best perimeter or paint defender in the league.
But my thing is, JELSON, is that like and he very well could be. I mean, I already said like I would pick Embiid, but in terms of like that, like you were going on a tangent kind of about that and then saying like, I'm not talking about Utah, and you were focusing on Minnesota, but then at the same time you said like, well, he had to get adjusted to it was a new system and stuff like that, which almost felt like it was excusing him for maybe not playing up to par of what we've seen in Utah most of this season. That's what I don't get.
What I would tell you is it's an excuse for him to not play number 1 level for half of the season, but play top 3 or top 5 level. And then the second half of the season becoming that number 1 paint defender that we had seen in the years past. I don't think what I would tell you is I don't think that half of a season of him only being a top 5 paint defender in the league should discredit him from not being the best paint defender in the league after being that for like 5 years in a row.
I get that. I think I get that argument because there's players who go like, if you think LeBron was the best player in the league from 2011 to 2018, in 2015-16, Steph Curry played the best basketball in the world. Now, there was a debate to be had, is Steph Curry the best player in the league? That season, Steph Curry was the best player in the league. For that 82-game stretch, Steph Curry played better basketball than everybody. But I think a lot of people would still tell you LeBron James is the best player in the league. And I think that's a lot of what Jelson's getting at, as far as like, at that very moment, he might not have been playing the best paint defense, but we know that he is that caliber of player. Just like in 2015-16, a lot of people still would have told you that LeBron James is a better basketball player than Steph Curry, even if Steph Curry was performing at a higher level at that moment. Now, I want to address kind of my thing from earlier, and I think your whole like Kyle Korver point, the whole specialty point, my whole thing, and this is really what I've been getting at the whole time with Rudy Gobert, is that say talent-wise, Rudy Gobert, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Joel Embiid are all 10 out of 10 rim protectors, right? Well, Rudy Gobert.
9 out of 10. You said 9 out of 10.
But I did, but just for the sake of comparison, hear me out. Because if we're saying nobody's better, I'll go 10, right? Because we're saying best in the league, okay? So I know that Rudy is going to give me that 10 out of 10 effort every single possession, every single night. While I know that those other two guys also have that 10 out of 10 talents, they have other responsibilities on the court. And so while they might have the same talent, production-wise, I know that Rudy Gobert is going to give me that 10 out of 10 rim protection every night. Joel Embiid might have some nights, because let's be honest, Joel Embiid's stamina and like load management and everything, that's been a part of Joel Embiid's career always, notoriously does not play back-to-backs. If Joel Embiid is giving you the 10 out of 10 effort on scoring, while he is a 10 out of 10 rim protection talent, he might be giving you 8 out of 10 production that night, even 9 out of 10 production that night. So if they're the exact same caliber of player, but Joel Embiid is using some of his energy elsewhere, the rim protection production that I'm getting out of Rudy Gobert is going to be higher.
I like that.
I mean, the one thing I was just going to say, I feel that, but I don't know if I would use the word, like when you said like with Rudy Gobert, I'm going to get 10 out of 10 effort. I don't know if I would say that.
I think production is the better word.
Okay, like he's gearing his production towards rim protection and rebounding, essentially.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because I was like, there's a lot of plays he takes off, and like
yes,
he almost looks, you know what I mean? So Go ahead. Jay.
Me personally, I actually love the word
Effort? Production?
effort, yeah. I don't know why.
Size?
I actually love the word effort because a lot of the time Rudy Gobert be over helping. I mean, the lack of foot speed he has, absolutely insane. And I just want to bring up the fact of you guys pointed out Rudy Gobert's 3 fraudulent defensive player of the years that he got on the Utah Jazz. Let me just say that Quinn Snyder's system directly resulted in those.
Jay.
Wait, no, wait, let me cook.
No, you're not cooking right now because
cooking.
you have
Fire.
you have to be a certain talent, certain great talent to have the whole defensive scheme go to the players only going to you. Do you understand how crazy that is? Do you understand how good of a defender you have to be for a entire defensive scheme just to be centered 2 players going to you so you can stop every single player on the other team? You understand?
Justin, you're cooked, bro. Justin, you're cooked. Because listen, when Jay said the air fryer is on, mute your mic. The air fryer is on. Let that man cook.
Listen. If I'm 7 feet tall, and I'm in Quinn Snyder's system, where it's like, hey guys, I know y'all are not very good perimeter defenders, but don't even try. Just funnel everybody to me. I'm getting 3 DPOYs too, bro.
No, you're not.
Hey, let's be honest.
No, you're not.
You
have to have a certain talent for that.
You can't defend, bro.
Second of all,
Jay, how tall are you?
He's like 5 foot on a good day.
Relax. My guy Jay is 5'3".
First of all, don't disrespect me. Wait, hold on. Don't disrespect me. I'm 5'9". All right, I tell the female I'm 5'11".
I can be a rim protector in the NBA.
I could get 3 blocks a game against LeBron James.
If I was 7 feet tall, that's what I'm saying.
No, you're not.
Now, the best rim protector, the best rim protector actually in the league right now is Bam Adebayo. Y'all missed it. What's better as a defender than stopping your guy before you even get to the rim?
Jelson's taller than Bam.
What does that have to do with rim protector? Did you just say Bam Adebayo is the best rim protector in the league because he's a better perimeter defender?
Is Marcus
that is a
Smart,
crazy point.
2 years ago, was Marcus Smart the best paint defender in the league then? It's just genuine question.
Marcus Smart.
What did bro just cook? The air fryer's off?
Marcus Smart was
unplugged it, bro.
Bro, is my shit lagging?
No.
Marcus Smart was not somebody that guarded bigs or down there constantly Bam Adebayo.
He was stopping players from getting to the paint, so therefore he was the best paint defender in the league.
My guy Knight Triker knows what's up. Yes, sir. Had to bring that up.
That's cap. Embiid has 5 good defensive plays in him all game. That's it. Embiid is gassed out like me, brother. His cardio is.
Wait, so if you're 7 would you beat Joel Embiid?
No, Joel Embiid actually has offense to his game. He has a bag, unlike Rudy
Gobert. Wait, you just said that if you were 7 foot, though, that bro, you get what I'm saying? You said if you were 7 foot, but then you just said Embiid is gassed like me. This man just contradicted his own point.
I was talking about Joel Embiid's offense.
Jay, bro. Stop talking about Joel Embiid. Stop talking about Rudy Gobert. You said Bam Adebayo is the best rim protector.
Yeah, can we go back to that? Because that's bullshit.
He could stop you because he could stop you before he had to protect the rim.
Because he knows he's cooked when he gets to the rim.
Bro,
hey, so I got
let me ask you this. Is Trae Young the best defender in the league because he can score more points than you on the offensive side?
All right, now y'all just chatting. Y'all chatting. Because that has no correlation.
Go ahead, Mo.
Jay, I'm going to ask you this question.
Right.
Look me dead in my face and tell me if I'm going to ask you, is Bam a better rim protector than Jaren Jackson Jr.? If you say yes, you're a liar.
He's a nice defender.
He just said no. Then he's not the best rim protector in the league.
All right, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all throwing me off a little bit. Y'all are throwing me off a little bit.
Jay, you've made me take my headphones off 3 times this episode. Dude, that's like a record.
I'm walking off, bro.
All right, listen.
Segment.
Listen. There is no doubt that Bam Adebayo is the best defender out of everybody on this list, right? What? Bro, they don't see the vision. Oh,
That was crazy.
Bro. The conversation,
Were you-
the
were you guys watching
conversation
that?
was not.
Did you guys see that?
No.
We
I had to
all
leave.
Gabe,
walked
you
off.
left, and then Mo left, and then Jelson left, and then I left.
And then now
This
Jay's
dude-
gone.
Now Jay's gone. Where'd Jay
bro.
go?
This dude said, Bam Adebayo is the best defender here.
I'm
The
still
question
here.
is not-
That's
the
crazy.
question was not who is the best defender.
Shout
The
out Night
question is,
Tracker for still being
Who
here, man.
was the best
The goat.
rim protector?
All right, you know what? Y'all got me. I picked Bam for the content. Y'all got me. Bam is not the best rim protector in the. All right, y'all got it. Y'all
Dude,
got it.
the TikTok,
He's
dude, the
exposed.
TikTok of all of us walking off the screen is gonna be the funniest thing
Legend.
of all time.
Jay exposed.
Bro, I want to edit that one.
But hold up, but it's
We got-
damn
we
sure
got-
not Rudy Gobert. Let's be honest. Rudy Gobert is ass.
Jelson, you can't get that close to your microphone, bro. That was just too.
5 times.
Crazy.
5. Okay, what were
Jelson,
saying?
you gotta stop getting so close to the microphones, man. The memes are only gonna pile up.
Y'all crazy, bro.
Dog.
Okay.
Y'all crazy.
Oh
Should we
my-
move on, or-
Hey, bro.
I think that was the
That
last
was-
topic.
that was
Unless you want to
somebody-
host the game.
Yeah, man. I will. I came for the game, man.
Yo.
Y'all nasty, bro. I don't like y'all.
Bro.
Cause
We
y'all
Look at my headline
upset. We
thing.
have
Y'all-
we
All
have
right.
upset Mo this
Y'all
episode,
dragging it.
man.
Oh shoot. Hold on. Sorry, my bad, Jelson. My thing was like glitching out. All right. So, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yup.
All right.
Can't
Basically, this is the NBA Wheel of Fun. So,
Hey.
every money or every number amount you see on there is basically how many points you will get added if you get the question correctly. It's going to work kind of like how Jeopardy did last time, although I'm going to read the questions because I know we had some people that did not like reading the question last time. So I am going to read the question, and then you guys can buzz in. You're only allowed one answer per question. Jay, I feel like you kind of can't participate because I already shared the answers document with you.
Yeah, I got bad memory, bro. I swear, I got bad memory, bro.
This
Bro,
dude's
he's
gonna
gonna
pull
pull
up.
up.
Anyway,
Okay,
just-
LeBron.
I'll allow
Yo.
it. He's gonna lose anyway. I'm not gonna.
Oh, you
Best
guys wanna let
defenders,
Jay
best
play?
defenders for 500. Bam Adebayo.
Not
So you
Rudy
guys-
Gobert.
Do you guys want to let Jay play? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Jay is in, bro, because it's gonna be even sweeter when.
All
he
right.
loses.
Jay, this is the honors code, honors policy. No
Jay
cheating.
has everything to lose and nothing to win. If Jay wins, he saw the answer document. If he loses, he saw the answer document.
That is kind of true. Super Mario says 24
Nah, that's
for real.
crazy.
Jay, where's your camera?
He died.
Let's go.
Bam
Jay-
Adebayo stopped it before it could turn on.
Jay is shamed, bro. Jay is in the shame corner right now.
Jay, you got a chance to actually win a key holder position. Actually, this time we're gonna have a first time winner of a game show because none of you guys have won one. I don't think Gabe's participated in like many or any. Have you?
I
Yeah.
participated in your 100,000.
Oh yeah. You did the last time.
I just overthought myself to the loss.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so I'm gonna spin the wheel. Nobody gets to decide like anything. We're just gonna watch this glorious wheel spin, and I'm gonna remove each one too every time it goes. So
We're going into
And-
the wheel stops, or there's nothing left.
yeah, so the letter will tell me. It'll tell like what question it is. So we're starting real small. 100A.
L
All right.
take. That's an L take
money
right
is
there.
on Gabe?
Real quick,
Night
real quick,
Striker
Jared.
L. You're losing
All right.
money.
Mute the audio on the wheel.
How do I do that?
There's
It's
literally.
right.
Oh yeah.
literally
My bad, my
come
bad.
on.
I saw it. Okay. 100A. Okay.
Do we buzz in?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to buzz in.
Okay.
so
all right.
literally just say buzz.
Yep. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Indeed.
What do the letters NBA stand for?
Buzz.
Buzz.
I heard Gabe first.
That's cap. I said it first. I definitely said it first.
No, you did not. It was the
Everyone
National
buzzed
I
at the same
definitely
time
did
except
not
for
say it
Gabe.
first.
Everyone buzzed at the same time except
It's
for
the
Gabe.
National Basketball Association.
That is correct.
100
Now,
points.
the thing is, I mean, obviously there's an advantage of getting points, but it's not like Gabe gets to choose the next question anyways. So, Gabe's got 100. Not too shabby. Let's see where we're going next. Okay. A 400 pointer. So we're going with 400A.
I want to see what these 900 pointers are.
So 400A. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
And again, first person to buzz. Among current players only, which player has scored the most points in a single playoff game?
Buzz.
Jay.
Jason Tatum.
That's incorrect. I think I heard Mo next, then Jelson.
Yeah. So Jason Tatum has the most in a game 7. In a playoff game, I'm not sure that there's any other player that has scored.
You got like 5
60
seconds.
points. I'm gonna go with LeBron James.
That is incorrect. Jelson.
Buzz. Oh wait, I can't buzz again. Fuck.
Let me go with. Wait. Let's go. Steph Curry.
It's incorrect. Gabe.
All right, so I have an actual guess of what game it was. I believe Damian Lillard had a crazy game against Denver. And I know Tatum and Steph, like they both had 50, even Giannis had 50, but I feel like Dame had like a good 55 or something.
Yeah, like he had 55.
Crazy game against Denver.
He did have 55 in that game, but you would be incorrect as well.
I know
The
what
correct answer.
Who is it?
Wait, Garrett. We should keep going down the list until somebody gets it.
No points.
No, it's going to take
points.
forever. No points. The correct answer is
Jordan. It's Jordan.
Is it Giannis?
Jordan's not an
Donovan-
active player, bro. What?
Donovan Mitchell, game 1 in the
Oh,
bubble.
he said active.
Oh
57.
my god, that was an easy.
57.
We should have.
That was an easy one.
Do we want Night Traker as our judge?
I guess. I don't know. I feel like the delay will kind of throw it off, but
Yeah, that's
no
a crazy
points there.
goal.
Gabe's got 100. Where we going? Do. And we're going
Buzz numbers.
300B. Now, you could answer right away.
No.
if you want.
I was kidding.
You're not going to know what I'm going to ask you. But, all right. So that was
6.
300B, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You don't have to tell me what years, but how many seasons in his career has LeBron James missed the playoffs?
Buzz.
Buzz.
Jelson.
2. 3.
Incorrect.
3. It's
You can't change your answer. Jay.
Man, shut the shit.
Um,
Yo, I feel like my
playoffs.
buzzers aren't getting hurt, and I don't like this.
I'm gonna go 4.
That would be correct. It is 4.
It's his first 2 years, 2019 and 2022.
Wait, he
Yep.
missed the playoffs in 2019.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
If y'all had to know the years, I'm afraid I was getting those points.
Yeah, you guys would have been cooked. Jay has 300. He's in the lead. All right.
Bro, Jay saw the
Gabe has
answer
100.
document, bro. Jay saw the
Nah.
answer.
That was straight off the strength, bro.
It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Gabe has 100, and the rest of you guys got nothing. Let's go.
my buzzers aren't being hurt. I don't like this.
You
Now
were
you
the
said
next
Mo
one.
had
To
to
buzz. I
buzz.
felt bad, Mo, because you were literally the next one to buzz. Okay, 500C. All right, 500C. You guys ready?
I stay ready.
Who is the only player in the current NBA that attended New Mexico State?
Buzz.
Ooh, got me.
Mo.
Okay, New Mexico State. It's blanking. I know who this is, but it's blanking on me now, and I'm disappointed.
You got like 5 seconds.
Fuck.
3,
I know who this is. I
2,
can't answer it. I don't have an answer. But when the
Buzz.
answer is revealed, I'm gonna be like, I knew that.
Jay.
Is it an active player?
Yeah, it's currently in the NBA.
Bro, y'all got
Dude,
it.
y'all just don't
I
listen.
have an answer, bro. You guys
You got-
buzz without an answer, bro. I have an
You got
Bro,
five-
I
I
know
was-
who it is.
I'm gonna
3,
go
2,
Jose Alvarado.
1. You're wrong, Gabe.
Hell
But
nah.
I'm this might be a casual. My mind is blank, but I feel like it might be Pascal Siakam.
You would be correct. It is Pascal
Bro.
Siakam.
Okay,
Raptor, hey, that's
I
Raptors knowledge.
fucking
bro.
knew that, bro.
That's a
I was
Raptors
waiting. I was
fact,
waiting
bro.
for somebody to say Kawhi because he played for San
Bruh,
Diego
y'all
State.
listen, bro. This is Mickey
Yeah, that's
Mouse
fair.
as fuck. You can't sit here and buzz and sit there for
Yeah.
fucking 10 seconds while I have an answer in my head.
I think I'm gonna change the rule. You only have 5 seconds after you buzz to get off the answer.
Okay.
Because 10 seconds, I mean, like we're over here like daydreaming between questions.
Bro,
Okay.
buzzed if it asked a follow-up question. That's crazy.
We're going
Steph
900. 900B. You know, the bigger point ones are gonna be harder. Ready?
Yep.
Yes.
900B. What NBA player hit the shot heard around the world?
Buzz,
Yep.
Kawhi Leonard.
No.
Buzz.
The
No.
shot.
Yep. Jelson.
Ron Artest.
No.
Dude,
That's a crazy guess.
I was thinking meta world peace,
The
hearing around
shot,
the world.
bro.
It doesn't matter if it was Meta
I've
or Ron.
definitely-
They're both wrong.
I've definitely heard that.
Yeah, me too.
There's an
Gabe and
obvious
Mo.
one. I'm gonna give you the non-obvious one. I'm a buzz.
Yep.
I feel like for some reason, because you're a Bulls fan, John Paxson.
Nope.
What should
Mo.
I know, bro? I can't think of. I know it's a highlight that I know I've seen, but I can't.
I'll give you 5 seconds now because you have not officially buzzed in yet, but 4, 3.
Kevin
2.
Durant. Shit, I don't know.
That is incorrect. The correct
Don't
answer.
tell me it was Ray Allen. Do not tell me it was Ray Allen.
It's an old school one. 1976 NBA Finals, a triple overtime, Game 5, Celtics Suns. The answer is Gar Hurd.
Who?
Yeah, I wasn't.
yeah.
Garfield
never heard of him.
Hurd.
I
Nope.
was not getting.
You
that.
guys gotta look up that play, man. That's an iconic play in NBA history.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I'm sure I've seen that play before. I just couldn't put.
Couldn't name the player. Yeah.
I feel like if you guys see it again, you'll recognize the play, but that's kind of a tough one. That's why it's a 900. Anyways, we're going to 600B. All right. 600B is how many teams, you just need to give me the number, not which teams, but how many teams, or I guess franchises, did Moses Malone play for in the NBA that also made the playoffs in 2023?
Buzz.
Yep.
2.
Incorrect.
Buzz.
Yep.
3.
Incorrect.
Buzz. 5.
Yep. Incorrect.
Y'all
Mo.
just guessing shit, bro.
Yeah.
I have another guess. Dang.
Shit. I don't even know how many teams he played for in the NBA. He played for a decent amount, but I'm gonna say, I think 2 was said and 4 was said. Was 4 said?
Yeah.
4 was
Go
not
with-
said. 2,
Oh, was
3,
it
and
not
5
said?
were said.
Oh, 5 was said.
Well, then I'm gonna go with 4.
Why would you tell him that, bro? He could have just got guessed a repeat and got 0 points.
Well, because you
I'm
can't
gonna-
guess the same answer. Are you going
I'm
with
gonna-
4, or are you
I'm
going?
gonna go with 4. Then yeah.
You would be correct. It is 4.
Wait, how many teams did he play for?
He played for
A
like
lot.
8, but or 9. But the teams he played for that made the playoffs this year were the Bucks, the Hawks, the Sixers, and the Clippers when they were the Braves.
Yeah, I thought he played for way less teams. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
Yeah, he played for a lot of
Low-key
teams.
a journeyman. Low-key a journeyman.
Low key, I think he's played for the most teams of any NBA MVP ever. Anyways, Gabe's got 600, Mo has 600, Jay has 300, Jelson's got nothing. All right.
Call me Devin.
Wait, what the
That's
heck?
crazy.
Bro, the wheel just froze. Oh wait, here we go. Sorry. Where we going? We're going small. 100C. So this one should be an easy one. What team won the 2023 NBA championship?
Buzz.
Buzz.
Jelson.
The Denver Nuggets.
That is correct. You needed those points.
He's on the board. He's
For
on the
sure.
board.
He definitely needed those points. All right. Let's spin it again.
It was definitely a lot more
Yo.
sections on the wheel. We thinning it out a little bit.
400C. All right. How many seasons did Michael Jordan play all 82 games?
Buzz.
Jelson.
6.
Incorrect.
Buzz,
Jay.
4.
Incorrect.
Buzz.
All right, Mr.
Yep.
Boost, man.
Dude, nobody
8.
would know this.
You can say 8.
Yep.
That's incorrect.
All right. I'm going to buzz in. Lucky number 7.
Not so lucky because that's incorrect.
Uh,
Correct answer is 9.
Dude,
you guys
only-
are all too low.
Only diehard Bulls fans know that.
Bro,
Like
you're
absolutely
just
most
odd.
diehard.
Are you saying Mo's not a diehard?
I'm saying the diehard, the Michael Jordan. Like who knows?
Oh, just wait, Jelson. There is an interesting Timberwolves question on here. So
Sam Cassell.
Hey, I got my Raptors question, man. I knew Pascal Siakam's college.
let's see. 800? Oh, 600. Okay. Oh my gosh. Here you go, Jelson. Here's your time. The Timberwolves signing of Joe Smith led to the team getting stripped of 5 straight first-round picks. But their first-round pick for one of those years was eventually restored. What year was that?
Buzz.
Yep.
91.
That's incorrect.
Buzz,
Yep.
1998.
That's incorrect.
Buzz.
Yep.
1993. And that's
Incorrect.
Just a guess.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, Gary. I feel like this is one of the ones you told me, and I still don't remember that shit.
Come on, Jay.
2003.
It is 2003.
What the
Dude,
fuck?
literally cheating. Literal cheating.
Nah,
Literal
this is-
cheating.
This is gonna
Get
go
the
down as the
fuck
most
outta
scuffed
here.
mini.
Give him half points, bro. He
That
literally
shit
knew the
crazy,
answer.
bro.
Don't give it. Nah,
Hey,
don't give it
man.
to me. Don't give it to me.
No, I'm gonna give it to you because everyone else here did agree to
We
let you
literally
play in the
we
game,
all got it wrong. So
and everyone else got it wrong. Everyone else
and we
agreed
was like
too.
crazy wrong too.
So I'm gonna give him it. It's your guys' choice. You guys said, "Hey, let's let Jay play." So that's on you guys.
We let him play.
It's
We
only
let him
100.
play.
How much was
It's only
that?
100.
How much
That was a
100.
600. That was 600.
What?
Oh, 600.
Hey, Mr. Timberwolves fan,
I don't care.
how did you not know that?
Because
Okay.
I was
700B.
born in 2003.
700B. Okay, ready? What year was the defensive 3-second violation added to the NBA?
Buzz.
Yep.
I want to say it was the defensive 3-second violation. I want to damn it.
You have a
I
5
was gonna say
seconds.
The defensive. I was gonna say it aligns with the
Buzz
Shaq years,
after.
but I don't know.
3,
So 1985. I don't fucking know.
That's incorrect. Jelson,
Let's go 1989.
wrong.
Hit me with the wrong.
Buzz, 2002.
Incorrect.
Yeah, I think it's in the 2000. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna go 2004.
That's incorrect. Gabe, you were the closest though. It's 2001. You
Bro,
were
it
one
didn't
away.
Fucking
You
line
were
up with
one
the
away.
Shaq years. Oh my.
I knew it was the Shaq years, bro. It was right.
That's
Jordan,
dumb.
Jordan was getting out
Now
of
I'm
there.
pissed
and
because I knew that much and I went against my own. Damn it,
Yep.
man.
We're gonna
Oh, Lord.
901 though.
Oh,
This is
Lord.
Woo. It's gonna be hard.
now. It's funny because yesterday I did go over this one with Jay, but I'm a bet he does not remember this. While Manu Ginobili changed the NBA by popularizing the Eurostep, which NBA player was credited with introducing the move to the NBA?
It's a old ass clip of somebody doing the Euro step. I think he was in a. I'm not gonna say that actually, but he got called for a travel, and that's the earliest fucking highlight I could see of a Euro step. Don't know who the player was, but yeah, I'm a timeout on this one.
You're tapping out. Any of the other three? You got anything?
I know who it is. I remember Gary, but I'm not gonna say it.
Can I buzz? I'm a
Like,
buzz,
do you remember
please.
because you saw it, or do you remember because you know it, like just naturally?
Because I
He
saw
just-
this
no,
shit.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I was
okay.
gonna say. Can I buzz still? I mean,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
said
Yeah, you can buzz in.
Elgin Baylor.
Nope.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna buzz and give an educated guess. I'm gonna say it was Drazen Petrovic.
That's a good guess, but it is not Drazen Petrovic. Jelson.
I don't know. I'm just gonna throw out a name because it's better than not throwing out a name. Let's give out Steve Francis.
What the fuck?
That is incorrect. So
Wait. Can I guess it? I don't remember 100%, but let me.
No.
You
He
literally
literally
said,
said
"I
you
remember
remember
this
it.
Wait. Not for points. Not for points. Just to like.
Oh,
I'm saying
not for
from-
points.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
not
Is
for
it-
points. Who is it?
Is it? Was it Nooney Ebby?
No,
Wasn't that one? Fuck.
you're thinking of the Timberwolves.
Oh,
That was the one we were doing when we were talking about what pick got restored for the Wolves, and that's who they
Oh.
picked.
Oh,
No,
okay,
the
okay.
The correct answer was Sarunas Marciulionis.
Oh yeah,
Bro,
I
what
remember
the
that
fuck?
long ass name.
Who?
He played for the Warriors for a bit in the 90s. He was pretty good. Jelson, I remember we literally talked about him like not too long ago, and you're like, who?
Who?
So right now it's still 900 J, 600 for Gabe, 600 for Mo, 100 for Jelson. You guys need some points.
Dude, isn't that? I'm sorry, but all these questions are from the 1890s.
Okay, this one should be free then. This one should be free. All right, ready? How many NBA teams currently play in California?
Buzz.
I heard Mo first.
4.
Motherfucker counted. No way.
Had to
That
make
is
sure.
correct. It is
I have to
4.
make sure. I get 5
Um,
seconds. Shit, I could list them off in 5 seconds.
That is true. Okay, so Mo's got 700 now. But you still got a tight game. I mean, other than
It's a lot of points to go
Jelson.
around.
But
Dude, as long I got more than Devin got that one game.
he didn't get any in that one game.
Exactly, I got more.
Are we gonna go for the big
Oh,
one? The
we're
big one?
going big.
I like this.
Wow. The
This
1,000
about to
point.
be a bullshit question.
This could make or break everything. I feel like this isn't even impossible level, but ready?
Mhm.
Here we go. Not including the Denver Nuggets in 2023. Who was the last team to win an NBA championship with a below 500 road record in the regular season?
Buzz.
Yep.
Miami Heat.
What year, too? You gotta get the year.
Let's go 2000.
I think
I don't-
either one.
So they won in
2014.
2006, 12, and 13. You got to
Oh,
guess
then-
one of those years then.
Let me
Did you
go.
say
Let me go.
4?
No. 2012.
Wrong. Wait, Mo, did you buzz in?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm
Below
cooked.
500 road record.
Oh, I'm
Below
wrong.
500 on the road.
Buzz.
Yep.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I think that the Celtics were when they started peaking. It was because of the home game, so I'm gonna go with. Fuck! They didn't win that one. Damn it. Okay,
Yeah,
they
you're
didn't
cooked,
win,
buddy.
so I'm
This
going
is
to.
this is
go-
totally 5 seconds.
You got like 3
Yeah,
seconds left because you did buzz in.
The
2, 1.
2016 Cavs.
Wrong.
All right. I'm buzzing in because they were not very good. I'm going to go with the 1994 Houston Rockets.
A good guess, but it is
Ooh,
not
that was a good.
them.
That was a good guess because that was the
Jay?
year, right?
Any thoughts?
To be honest, I have no fucking clue, bro.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
0. Correct answer was the 1978 Washington Bullets.
Bro,
Yeah,
what
when
the
they
fuck?
That's why it's 1,000 points.
Who?
Do you think I would give you just some easy answer for 1,000
Why
points?
did you? Okay, no, but like, why did you say, "Oh, this isn't impossible, bro"? What?
It's not
why would
impossible.
we have
I said it wasn't impossible because, like, I'm sure most of you guys know they won a championship, so they were in the realm of possibility.
Oh my
You know what I
god.
mean?
Every
they're-
single
1978
team
is
that has
crazy.
ever
Like-
won a championship is in the realm of possibility.
Okay, but like
hey,
the
to his
900
credit,
one
every
for
team
Gar
hasn't
Hurd, you guys
won.
didn't even know who Gar Hurd was. That's why I'm saying, like, compared to that one, you probably would have had a better chance.
Yeah, but
That's
you
what I'm
also
saying.
had
Garrett
the
was
rest of the year, though.
cooking, bro. Garrett was cooking with that.
He was
logic.
cooking methamphetamines, buddy.
Hey, man. Jelson, maybe if you're ever the key holder, then you can choose the rules, but it doesn't look like you ever will be right now.
Damn.
Anyways, we're moving on to 300C. This one should be gettable. Which 2023 free agent signing is expected to make the most money next season?
Wait.
Buzz,
Jelson?
is it Freddie VanVleet?
It is Van Vliet. That is
It
correct.
It is.
Oh, I was
you?
confused by
Terrible ass
confused by the question, bro. I was like, is this somebody that just got signed?
Yeah, someone that
Yeah.
just got signed expected to make the most money next season.
I'm afraid I
Oh,
was.
okay,
late.
that's it. Okay.
Because, like, I think the biggest overall deal is Jeremy Grant, but, like, next season it's Fred. Jelson's
The
back in
biggest-
it. All right. We got a few more.
Wait, what do I have now?
You got 400. If you get a 600, is there any? There's an 800 on here. There's two 800s and a 700. If you get one of those, you got the lead. If you get a 500, you're tied.
Justin, you're not
who's
getting
in the
that
lead
shit.
right now? It's still Jay, but what's
Jay's got 900. Mo has 700. Gabe has 600. Jelson has 400. Oh, and we're going to an 800.
speaking of? All right.
All right. 800A that was, right?
Yep.
So this one should be good.
JELSON.
I feel like okay. So this one's good. Who is the only NBA player that has an NBA championship and was born in Alaska?
Buzz,
Jelson?
Carlos Boozer.
That's incorrect. Jelson has
doesn't
so
have
much
a championship.
confidence.
Well, because I knew
think it
Carlos
was right
Boozer was
there.
born in Alaska.
Alaska's tough.
Alaska is tough.
I don't know any Alaskan hoopers, bro.
Born in Anchorage, Alaska, if that
I'm about
helps.
to I might have to give you the most random answer possible, bro.
And that is
Buzz.
Yep.
I'm in Shumpert.
He's from a suburb of Chicago.
that's
so,
incorrect.
Anchorage,
Jay, Mo.
Alaska. I feel like I know who you're
I'm
gonna
gonna give you
say
guys
once
10
you say
seconds.
it.
If neither you answer, I'm gonna just call it.
When you answer it, I'm be like, yeah, he is from Alaska because I saw that somewhere, but I got nothing.
5.
Nikola
Four.
Vucevic? Oh no, bro.
You're
Nope.
funny as fuck.
That
Any
might
answer,
be
Mo?
one of the worst guesses I've ever heard.
Okay,
Nope,
time's
no
up. Correct answer was Mario Chalmers.
Fuck.
Mario Chalmers from Alaska?
He was
knew
born
that
there.
Night
too.
Striker got
I
it.
knew that too.
Yep. Night Striker, 800 points for you. Just off that alone, you're beating more than half the people.
You're
Shit
beating
crazy.
me.
You're beating Jelson
Shit
and
crazy.
Gabe and Mo. All
You're
right.
beating JELSON.
Let's get Night Tracker as key holder, bro.
Bro, he might be.
Maybe.
He probably is winning. 200C. Okay.
I need that.
Low 0.1, so it's definitely possible to get. What division had all 5 teams make the 2023 NBA playoffs?
Buzz,
Mo?
the Pacific Division.
That is correct. It is the Pacific Division.
Hey, yo, Mo, you're getting too close, bro. Back up, bro.
I don't
what do you
even
mean
know
need
my
to be
division.
something
As
front
close
now?
as you can get because you guys are tied now.
Hey, back up, bro.
No.
What'd you say, Jelson? You didn't know what?
I don't know most of the divisions.
I don't
Oh,
either. I just know the
that's tough.
Pacific Division houses all the California teams, and they all made the playoffs.
Yeah, the 3 through 7 seeds in the playoffs. It was Kings, Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers in that order.
I forgot about the Suns too. They have
I
to.
want to be Ernie. Night Striker will be Ernie, but in the comment section.
200B. All right. This should be another gettable one. 200B. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yep.
So,
What is Steph Curry's real first name?
Buzz.
Buzz.
Damn, that's so easy.
That was
I
so
heard-
me. That was so
I-
me, bro.
I saw
No, it was me.
Jelson first, then Gabe, then Mo.
Bro,
What?
what?
I was so
Wardell.
first.
Wardell.
That's crazy. That's
It is
Fucking, you
correct.
can have
It
them
is
points.
Wardell.
I was definitely first, but whatever.
I felt bad kind of for, I don't know, maybe it's your Wi-Fi, Gabe. I don't know, but you were definitely after Jelson.
I get no love.
That's tough.
Oh, this is tough.
Hey, this is a close
tough.
game. We got 2 tied at 600 and 2 tied at 900, 6 and 9.
Hey,
Okay,
nice.
I'll leave that there.
Thank
Alrighty.
you, Joseph, for laughing.
All right, we're going with all the 200 ones in a row. I respect it. I respect it.
All right, here's where I take the lead, respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay. In the 2022-2023 NBA season, who was the scoring champion?
Buzz.
Buzz.
I heard Gabe first on that one.
What?
Oh, God, that
no,
was me.
no,
Oh,
no,
God, that was
bro.
me, bro.
That's so
It-
crazy.
It's been
I
so
heard-
long since I got credit. It's been
That's
so
so
long since I
crazy
got
to me.
credit. That's so crazy how it was Joel Embiid.
It is Joel Embiid.
Bro, it was literally me. I buzzed.
Bro, these are
Bro, that-
fractions of a second, man. I'm being as good of a ref as I can. Mo, you were second.
Maybe
though.
I'm not saying it loud enough. I need.
Yeah,
I
you
No,
need to
Mo,
scream
you're
it.
definitely loud enough.
You
but
need to
were
scream it, Mo.
You were the second one I heard, and then I heard Jay, and then I didn't really hear Jelson
Bro,
much, but
Yo, I
Jelson
tried
was
to
like
say
last.
before the
definitely.
question finished, bro.
That's tough. It is on your Wi-Fi then. You also have the document right there. So
He has all the answers. Like,
Mo and Jay still have 900. Gabe has 800. Jelson has 600.
Yo, Gabe, back up, bro.
We only got
Anybody's
7
game,
more left.
bro.
We might go to the tiebreaker question.
All right.
300A. All right. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Where did the first NBA game ever take place?
Buzz,
Gabe?
New York.
That's incorrect.
Buzz.
Mo?
I want to say St. Louis, Missouri.
That's incorrect.
Buzz.
It wasn't that close to you. Jelson?
San Antonio.
That's
Hell
incorrect.
no.
Jay?
Buzz, I want to go probably some Memphis.
What the hell?
That's
All right.
incorrect.
I need to ask some background, bro.
Wait,
I
did
thought
you
the
say that's
first
correct?
game. I thought the first game was for some reason in my head it was. Never mind. Just say it.
I'm surprised you didn't get it, Mr. Raptor fan. It was
Yeah,
Toronto.
it was
Bro,
the
I was gonna
Huskies versus
ask-
the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
You
it was
were- you
Huskies
had the
versus
right
Knicks.
game, you didn't
I
have the
thought it
right
was
place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
very
All
tough.
right. We got 6 more left. You guys gonna let Jay be key holder again?
It's tied,
Again.
bro. Jay's not winning right now.
It's tied, but he's up there. He's cooking right now. 500B. All right. Who is the shortest player to ever lead the league for the regular season in blocks per game?
Buzz.
Mo?
Buzz after.
Dwayne Wade.
No. That's incorrect. Jelson.
Wait. Oh,
What?
okay. Never mind. I misunderstood the question. You got it.
Well, now
Shortest
that he
player to
said,
ever lead the league in blocks per game.
let's go with. I don't know. Now that you said no on that, it makes me feel like it's an older
got
player.
5,
But John
4.
Wall.
Incorrect.
No. We both. I think we're misunderstanding the question, and I'm not gonna say it because they still have to go. But yeah.
Shortest player to ever lead the league for the regular season in blocks per game.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was the
You
question.
guessed
That's
what
what I
guessed.
I understand the question.
Yeah. You guessed what I guessed.
Jay and Gabe, you got about like 10
Unfortunate.
seconds before I'm calling it.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm gonna be mad if it's who I think it is.
I want to go.
Buzz. Wait,
Gabe
are you
Buzz
buzzing?
first.
Okay, Ben Wallace.
It is Ben Wallace.
Fuck.
Come
Wow.
on,
I'm so upset that I
That's
misunderstood that
Dude, me
question.
too, man.
dude! I knew. I was
I'm
like,
so upset.
who's a 6'9" center that's just
Because it was
Dude.
it was either
I'm
Dwight
surprised
Howard
Jay
I was
didn't get
thinking
that. I
of,
literally said that one right to him yesterday. Okay, but Gabe takes a commanding lead, 1,300 points, 900 for Mo, 900 for Jay, 600 for Jelson. Still close. Definitely not out of
There's
it.
some big questions on the board still.
Everything
Dude, I
left is a
can't
big
believe I
question.
misunderstood that question.
That's on you, my brother.
Yep.
Damn, I was gonna guess Meta World Peace, bro. Thank God Gabe got it.
That's a crazy guess that you would have made. 800B. All right. The question for 800B is, all right, Steve Francis was the second overall pick in the 1999 NBA draft. However, he made it very clear he never wanted to play for the team that drafted him.
Buzz.
What team, Gabe?
The Vancouver Grizzlies.
That is correct. It
Go,
is
Gabe,
the
Gabe,
Vancouver
Gabe,
Grizzlies.
chill out, Gabe.
Wow.
Come on,
Couldn't even finish the question.
I'm
It was
nice.
what team
I'm
drafted
nice.
him?
How they talking to me, Garrett? How they
Dude,
talking to me?
I'm not gonna lie,
Hey, bro,
that does not seem
Garrett,
like an
nah,
800
bro.
question.
Nah.
Really?
Justin,
'Cause you
still
knew
got-
it?
You don't got no points.
I no thing
Listen,
is
you don't got
that's
no
not like
points.
some of the
Listen to
most
me.
like crazy
Listen
things
to
that
me.
you've said in this so
Listen to
far.
me.
I guess
Listen to me.
That's
Garrett,
fair, but there's
Garrett,
30
Garrett,
possible answers.
This is
Yeah.
for the 3,000-point loss. This is me proving that I'm not a bum. All right. This
Yeah,
is for
but
Night
you
Tracker.
still haven't proved
This
it
is for
against
Night.
me.
No, this is for Night Tracker, bro. He picked me. Night. I got you. I
There's
got
still
you.
points
game
left.
ain't over.
It's not a guaranteed W yet.
Hey,
There's
game
still
ain't
points
over.
left. Game is not over. We got a 400B right now. All right. This one, you do not need to tell me the players, but how many first overall draft picks in the NBA, like throughout the history of the NBA, are top 30 all-time in total assists?
Buzz.
Jelson?
You said of all time?
Yep.
Let's go 15.
That is incorrect.
Can I hear the question one more time?
Yeah. How many first overall draft picks in NBA history are top 30 all-time in total assists?
Buzz.
Gabe.
7.
Incorrect. Jay and Mo.
I want to go. To be honest, I want to go. Like,
Mo buzzed.
13.
That's incorrect. Jay,
I want to go like 19. To be honest.
you guys are all guessing way too many, bro. The
Bro,
correct
I don't
answer
three,
is
isn't it?
3.
Oh my god.
Top 30.
It's LeBron James, Oscar Robertson, and John Lucas.
Wait, repeat the question one more time. Just one more time.
How many first
Magic Johnson?
overall draft picks?
Bro, you said first overall. My dumbass thought you said first round, which is why I was guessing so many.
Bruh. Wait, no. Hold up. Magic Johnson.
Oh, wait.
was
You know
not on
what?
that list?
You
I
are
thought you- I
correct.
thought you
I
said first
I
round.
skipped over Magic. It's still, you guys are still all wrong, but you're correct. I did forget Magic. So I'll take the L on that. But none of you guys
Doesn't
guessed
matter
4
anyway.
anyways. So still wrong. There's only 3 left. Let me see. There's
I'm pretty
17.
sure I'm pretty sure me or Jay has to get one of these 2 or 2 out of these 3 for
Yeah,
us
like
to
2 of
even
them.
still have a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
you and either you or Jay needs to get a 700 and a 500. Jelson needs to get all 3 to win.
How much do I have?
You have 2,100. If you get one more, I think you clinch the W.
Bro.
Okay.
If I get all 3, I tie.
No, you win if you get all 3. Oh, we're going big.
All right, well.
700A.
I'm ready.
So if me or Jay or Jilson don't get this, Gabe clinches, right?
That is correct. Gabe would clinch. But
Yeah.
I think for the heck of it, we will still finish off the game, even if so.
For sure.
700A in the god-awful 2000 NBA draft. Which player in that class has the most career win shares?
What the fuck? You have to give us like multiple choice for this, bro.
Yeah, because I don't even know who
what
was
is
No,
this?
no, no, no multiple
None of us are
choice.
getting this.
No. I'm saying not like with this because that's not how the format was.
How about
what
this?
the fuck is this question, bro?
How about this?
Buzz.
I will send in private chat a link on Wikipedia.
No.
Nah.
We're not
No,
doing
that
that.
I think that I think
but
that's
I
fair.
buzzed,
I
though.
think
No,
that's
it
fair.
isn't.
I
Yes,
buzzed
it
though.
is.
I buzzed.
Mo's buzzing. Mo buzzed.
So I'm gonna go with Jamal Crawford.
That's incorrect.
What a
Tough.
stupid fucking
I don't
question,
even,
bro.
I don't even know, bro.
I'll give you guys 15 more seconds before I call it.
Bro, Buzz. Karan
Yep.
Butler? I don't know.
That's incorrect, and he wasn't
Buzz?
drafted in 2000.
I didn't
Jelson.
think so.
Kudu?
It is Hito Turkoglu. Wow.
No
That's
fucking
crazy.
way.
NBA 2K legend, leaner.
What in the world? I never thought in a million years
Orlando.
Jelson would be the one to get
Insane.
that right.
Wait.
He's still in.
Wait. So if Jelson gets a wrong answer, I win?
Yeah.
You need to get at least one of them right to clinch, or no one need, or if Jay or Mo gets one right, you clinch.
So if Jelson
Jay-
has a wrong answer, I win.
Jelson needs to get both
Yes,
of these
you're
right
right.
to win.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
If
anything
Jelson-
else, you win.
Jelson, the clock is ticking, buddy.
How much are you paying me? I will literally sell if you give me $1.
The clock is ticking, bro.
That's crazy.
Here we go. We're going 500 D. All right. This could be for all the marbles. And I feel like, honestly, this is very gettable. What NBA team originally drafted Bill Russell?
Buzz.
Gabe?
The Atlanta Hawks.
That is correct. It is the
Hey, bro. Hey, bro.
Wow.
Hey, bro. Talk to me nice, baby. Talk to me nice. The key holder has arrived. Clean, fair, and square. How they talking to me. I'll see you folks Saturday. Y'all can answer this last one.
Because it doesn't matter to the score, I'm only giving you half points because it really was the St. Louis Hawks.
St. Louis
but it is
Hawks.
still
I
the
thought,
Hawks.
I thought that as soon as I answered it, I'm like, they weren't in Atlanta yet.
Bro, in
I'm
my
giving you 22
head,
seconds.
I was like, I'm thinking St. Louis for whatever reason.
That was the St. Louis question there. Okay,
Oh, God.
let's spin the wheel. Let's see what we get. What could it be?
What are we gonna get? I really wonder.
Oh, 900A.
I did
All
not
right, we
expect
got-
that at all.
Wait. Oh, we got 500A. All right. So the
I'm
last
such an idiot,
question.
bro.
The last question is: prior to trading it away months in advance of the 2011 NBA draft, which team originally owned the draft pick that became Kyrie Irving?
Buzz.
Jelson?
Pacers.
Nope. Either you guys get this, aside from Gabe, you guys will get second.
I'm trying to.
I'll put 20 seconds on the clock.
Was it the Hornets?
It's not the Hornets. 10 seconds for Mo and Gabe.
Buzz.
Yep.
The Pelicans.
Nope. Mo.
Were they the I don't think they were even the Pelicans at the time, were they?
They weren't actually. They were the
I thought by
they were
Hornets
the,
he meant Bobcats, so I was going the old Hornets.
well, technically the Hornets then became the Pelicans. So either way, you already won. I'm gonna count that as a strike. Mo, you got 5 seconds.
Is it? Is it the
Three.
Utah Jazz?
That is incorrect. The correct answer was the Los Angeles Clippers when they
Ah.
traded Mo Williams for Baron Davis between them and the Cavs in 2011. Before the draft, it made no sense, and that was that. So
Still don't make no fucking sense.
in all, we got our winner, and that is
come on, bro.
Dr. GabeSlidIn.
Key holder time, baby. Put me in the lineage. Who's it been? Steph, Garrett, me? There's still
And
6 of y'all
Devin.
that need to catch up, baby. As Devin did not win a game for that, bro.
True,
Devin
but
had
he's
it
been the
by
key
default.
holder.
But
Hey, wait, what about me?
Yes,
Nah.
people who
That's
Jay,
not
you don't
going
count,
into
bro.
the
You were
document.
literally
Jay said,
nominated.
"What about me?"
Nah,
People-
that
for
people-
it goes. No, check it out, because I make the document. So
for
it
people
goes
that have
into
won
the
key
document.
holders,
Yeah, it goes into the
Facts.
document as Garrett twice or Jay, but that was Garrett's choice, so it doesn't count as Jay's. And then the next key holder is Gabe. So
I've really
Devin is
won
not
3
gonna
mini
be-
games, but
Hey,
I also, because Steph missed the
Hey,
one stream, I
why
let
not?
him be the key holder that
Here's
stream
my
too.
challenge. Here's my challenge. Saturday. Oh wait, no, Mo, you're not gonna be here. Mo, next time you're here, brother, you've got second way too many times, bro.
That's true.
Literally,
time-
He didn't get second
3
today.
times in a row, bro. 3
It's
times. in a
time.
row. 3
It's
times
time to
straight.
stop selling
Wait,
at
did
the
I
end.
I get second this
Jelson
game?
did get second today.
Oh, Mo, we
Oh,
need
so
a win
no,
out of
that-
you.
If that's
Mo,
the point,
Mo,
I tied for last then. So
Mo,
Hey,
we need
that
a
is true.
we need a win out of you. This is the next time Mo is on stream. I need a win. When
I'm
I'm
the
key holder,
Buffalo. I'm literally
when
the
I'm-
Buffalo Bills. That's crazy.
when I'm key holder, brother, Devin, run the NBA, Mr. Kenny. We gonna need you to take over, bro.
Mr.
We gonna
Kenny.
need you to
DK.
lock in.
Hmm,
We gonna need you to lock in, DK.
No Metcalf.
Hey,
that's crazy.
let me tell you. I will take my second place in stride, but do not tell John I said this. But I feel like I played winning.
No, you
Winning
didn't. No, you
for
didn't.
last
game.
No, you
place.
didn't, bro.
You didn't.
Hey, one more thing before we end this off. Jay,
Man,
just
I'm
remember,
outta
you
here.
had the answer sheet. Jay, you had the answer sheet. You
I play
still
fair. I play
lost. You
fair.
still lost to me.
I play fair.
Jelson,
you
if
would-
you had the Timberwolves question right, I think it would have been a lot closer.
It really wouldn't.
Well, you would have had 20
I would've-
or 2,000. You'd have been only like a couple hundred away, like 300 away.
That's still, I don't know. Gabe would have taken the cake still. So
Come on, bro. I'm him.
That's
Well,
tough.
it was literally the year
Well-
I was born, bro.
Yeah,
I still thought it.
Okay,
I ain't
bro.
gonna lie.
game
Y'all
is
are
I was
some
in-
trivia.
That
some
has
trivia
been
fucking questions, bro.
that's been this stream for Key of Threes, man. If y'all appreciate it,
Yeah.
if y'all was here, leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because we got more streams coming up for y'all. And with that, we out of here, man.
Hey,
See y'all
man,
on Saturday.
I am the key holder today. Let me at
You
least
are
say my
not the
goodbye.
key, bro. Get the.
I won the mini game last time, to be
Yo,
fair. And
look
I
at my-
won't be
gave
here
up
for
your
a
key
week.
holder to Jay. It should have been
Yeah,
Jay.
Garrett, look at my title, bro. It's key holder right there. Come on, bro.
Bro, I'm also key holder. Hey, man.
I believe I just
I'm-
won that right from you guys.
Hey, man, I'm going to go solo. I'm going to be gone for a week. So
That's so crazy. You don't get to go solo. Nah, get the fuck out of here. You don't get
Crazy.
solo.
I just
Bro,
did.
solo
Wait,
last
you
time.
made me
Mo,
solo.
Mo,
Okay.
you're
I didn't
And
make
look
it
at
so
Jay.
hard.
Look at Jay's title, bro. Key holder.
That's, you got cooked.
It was a winning time, baby.
Minutes, but that's
Talk to me
crazy.
nice. Talk to me nice.
Anyways, I thought, at least in the time I was here as a W stream, you guys, I'm assuming, held it down for the fort. I was listening. I wasn't like paying too much attention for most of it in the beginning, but hey, man, I thought W's all around. You know what I mean?
W stream, fellas. W stream, man.
We see y'all boys on Saturday. Peace out.
Make sure y'all
Yes, sir.
tap in for
We're out.
Saturday stream.
Peace.